What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining us right here on Tuesday night. It is Tuesday Night Titans, episode 154 for your Tuesday, July 7th, 2026. I'm your host, JD from New York, as always, coming to you live tonight with the only commissioner that makes a sound decision and makes it look easy, the Solid Monster. What's going on, brother?
I feel like I may be the only competent authority figure that is out there currently in pro wrestling.
I think so. We can pinpoint deficiencies in both on the same show now, apparently.
Yeah, they don't get along too well either, which is kind of nice, honestly. I like the fact that there is actually some heat now between the two GMs. I think we need more of that.
Yes, I do. I like it as well.
I have heat with no one, though.
No.
I get along with everybody.
You're fair and right down the middle. Well,
like
maybe unless it's Charles Mason, of course. We all know that.
Well, he's the champion though, so we have to coddle him and we have to make sure he's the main attraction.
He is.
I have to tolerate him.
Yes, we all do, and he's very good at his job. But before we get into what we have lined up for you guys tonight, I have to say, congratulations. This deserves a holy shit chant too. Jason has finally topped Jim Cornette. This week's Sound Off was the #1 wrestling podcast in the United States of America.
On Apple Podcasts, I have finished my story. Finally.
What did you do to celebrate? You had a nice cold beverage, hopefully?
What I did to celebrate was I streamed after Raw last night for like 3.5 hours, and I went to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. That's what I did.
Oh, my God. He tops Cornette. So that's great news there. I always love to see that.
Yeah. It was nice. No, it was good. It was good because obviously, he's got a couple of different shows and consistently always at the top of the charts every single week, right? They're doing great stuff over there, and it's always like nipping at the heels, #2, and I'm like, one of these days. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh, man.
In the middle of July, man, it's like there was barely any news, and you still accomplished the goal. Look at that.
You trying to diminish my goal by saying there was hardly any news to talk about?
No, it just accentuates how great of a host you are.
Ah, I see.
See?
Yes, no, but it was very nice, and I'm sure there are at least some people in the chat who are regular listeners of the Sound Up. So I want to say thank you. I appreciate that. Everybody who supports, everybody who tunes in to the main, flagship show every Sunday, I appreciate that.
There you go. So that's one great piece of information we had there. And I'm going to let Jason announce, because I just literally, before I hit live on YouTube, just saw the news about House of Glory, and I will let the commissioner explain that to you because that's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of questions ever since the last show. We made the announcement that we were done with Triller TV. We've been on Triller now for many years. And Triller's been great, but we're moving on to a different platform, and everybody's been wondering, where are you going, right? Where are you going to stream? And so we have this big event coming up on August 7th, which is our big event of the summer, High Intensity. And we made the announcement in the last couple of hours that High Intensity will stream live and free in full on the official House of Glory YouTube channel. So it's going to be accessible to as big of an audience as it's ever been accessible to, and everybody will be able to join. We'll have the live chat. I'm sure that'll be popping. And like High Intensity, it's one of our biggest events of the year. So we've already got a whole bunch of names announced. Eddie Kingston was announced for the show. Leo Rush, Shayna Baszler, we just announced the Hardys will be on the show defending their titles. Ricky Sosa. So in the weeks to come, we'll announce the full card. This is just for High Intensity. There are discussions going on as far as what the long-term view is going to be. So it doesn't mean that we're going to be streaming permanently on YouTube. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. This is just for High Intensity. Once we have more to announce, we'll make that announcement. But pretty cool stuff, right? Everybody's got access to YouTube. So if you've never sampled an HOG show before, this is your best option right here. I can't think of a better time to check it out, and I think you're going to like what you see.
There you go. I love that news. I think that's very exciting. Can't wait to get to August 7th. Should be a great show.
Gives you an option that night, by the way, other than SmackDown to tune into.
Absolutely.
Even better.
Well, I don't know. And CM Punk is over there now, so we may have some stiff competition. We'll see.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but if you guys have not checked out House of Glory at all, please do so. I guarantee you, you'll be a fan. Absolutely hooked. So Looking forward to seeing you guys there. Should be great, and that's a very exciting announcement. Tonight, we got a lot of news. We're going to talk CM Punk, Sami Zayn, Gunther, Cody Rhodes, what happened last night on Raw in Chicago, which should surprise nobody. We'll talk about where this leaves Sami Zayn going into SummerSlam, if this was the right move, how everything came about, what WWE did last night. We'll talk about some AEW. We got a big title match tomorrow night in Clearwater, Florida for Beach Break. It's MJF defending the World Championship against Kenny Omega. If Kenny Omega doesn't win, you got to pay attention to the words that he used, MJF. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't win, then he doesn't get a championship opportunity ever again. So I'm sure some shenanigans will be happening there. I personally wouldn't take the belt off MJF yet, but we will talk about that and how all that is going to play out tomorrow on Dynamite. And we got some news on Sheamus. We'll talk about Sheamus and what happened to him. 19 years walking away from WWE because of a low ball offer. So Sheamus, absolutely first ballot Hall of Famer, no longer with the company. It's very weird to even be saying that. You would think Sheamus and you would think WWE lifer, but that term doesn't exist anymore with TKO in charge. So we'll definitely talk about that. We got a couple of great topics lined up for you guys. Thank you for joining us on TNT. There is a goal, and I want to make sure you guys are aware of this. I'm going to be doing this all week until we get to Friday, and then I'm going to be spinning my wheel on who wins these beautiful prizes, one of which I'm wearing on my head right now because my Braves cap is at the dry cleaner. So I'm wearing
finally.
Yeah, I know.
After 6 years, it's finally at the
I
dry
know. Ricochet will be pleased for sure.
I'm surprised, like it's in tatters, like it's just hanging by a thread. That
not really. I know it's not that bad.
Okay,
it's not that bad. I got a second.
You have more than one?
I have more than one. I did buy multiple. But there is
in 1993.
There is a goal though. So one of the prizes that you guys can win is what I'm wearing on my head now, the official Off the Script hat. And this beautiful baseball bat beer mug that we got made, and you guys can see that right there. Very, very quality stuff. I don't really skimp on this type of thing, so I got this one here. I got a lot of them. So if you guys donate $10 or more tonight and across all the streams this week up until Friday, you guys can enter yourself into the spinning of the wheel. So you'll get credits to be on the wheel. Every $10 is a single credit. And if you guys reach the goal today, which I set at 20 and we're already 5 there, so we need 15 more, you guys get an additional spin on the wheel. So make sure you guys go and check that out. If you guys want to get involved, it's there for you. So let's have some fun with that. Super chats normally are open if you guys want to send in your support. We'll hang out at the end of the show. Thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe, and go follow Jason on Twitter and on YouTube. Everything you need for him is linked down below in the description. All right, my friend, we have a lot of important SummerSlam business to talk about. Where do you want to go?
Well, before we jump into SummerSlam, I don't know if you want to just, we could chat very briefly about some of these names that appear to be on their way to WWE. There are 2 in particular. I know the news broke over the past week as far as one from TNA, and actually more than one, but one kind of surprising one from TNA, and then one from AEW. And I think the one on AEW is not that surprising. Big Bill. I mean, this has kind of been touched on off and on now for many, many weeks.
Yeah.
We still don't have an exact date. You know, all these reports that come out, I still don't see like, oh, his contract is up on this date or that date. But it sounds like if it hasn't happened already, he is imminently going to be a free agent. And this is apparently why WWE has not yet signed Enzo Amore, is because they were waiting to see what, I guess, Bill's availability was going to be. But it looks like it's going to happen. And it looks like Kaz and Enzo are going to be reunited very soon, either in... I mean, I suppose it's possible it could be NXT, but what a waste that would be.
Well, I wanted to shoot this by you because I talked about this last night because we got that vignette promo from JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio. Mm-hmm. The week prior, Danhausen said, and he was on the phone, which was disconnected, and Matt Cardona questioned him, who you on the phone with? His phone's not plugged in. And he said that he has backup. He's got friends in New York, and they're real. Now, I know you talked about here last week that you think that, and I'm sure the Knicks are going to be involved, and Brunson or whoever else from the New York Knicks is going to be at Madison Square Garden supporting Danhausen. Do you think that they debut Enzo and Cass at Madison Square Garden to help Danhausen beat the Judgment Day? Is that a possibility?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a very real, no pun intended. I think it's a very real Possibility. I mean, I was thinking it would be Brunson. I see that Brunson apparently either has already or is about to undergo some sort of wrist surgery or some sort of surgery. So I suppose it's possible he may not be there, but I would be shocked if they don't have, Nick's representation there and that they're a part of this in some way. So like when he said that on TV, I just assumed maybe Brunson will be in his corner, he'll be outside the ring. But that actually would make a lot of sense. I mean, what better place to debut these two than in Madison Square Garden? Because the reaction they're going to get coming out in New York is going to be off the charts. So that would be as good a place as any, I think, if you were going to bring them back to do it.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I mean, I also thought about why they took the tag team titles off the Street Profits last night, and there's two reasons. One, because putting them on the Vision would be easy for a returning Enzo and Cass to beat a heel team in the Vision to, I guess, further some tension there between the Vision and Paul Heyman and maybe break the group up. It's better for them to beat the Vision than the Street Profits, or Bianca is about to give birth and Montez is going to need to be home, which is why they took the belts off of the Street Profits.
That's what I would imagine. Yeah. I would imagine that I think she's due any week now because at WrestleMania she was 6 months along.
Yeah.
And then Dawkins and his wife are also expecting. I believe that is in September. So it's not as imminent, but it's possible that because of that we're not going to see them on TV for a while. So, if that's the reason, then obviously that's a great reason. I'm not thrilled about the belts being back on the Vision. I was hoping it would swing the other way, and it went completely the opposite that I was kind of hoping it would. And the focus last night wasn't even on Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker was like the side piece last night. The main focus of the Vision was Maxine Dupree on Raw last night.
Well, he got shoved aside for Femi. He loses Bronson Reed, and now Maxine trumps him on Monday Night Raw. What's going on here?
Boy, when you look at where he was coming into this year and where he is now, right? They've cooled him off in the same way that Jacob Fatu came out of WrestleMania with a win over Drew McIntyre and then proceeded to lose 2 in a row to Roman Reigns, and now he's basically his errand boy. It's pretty incredible how they've cooled some of these guys down in the last few months.
It seems like forever we got that Bron Breakker and Jacob Fatu stare down. That got everybody excited for about 5 seconds.
Was that like 2 years ago now?
Yeah. Now look at where we are. We're worse now than we were 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a worse position now. I mean, you would hope in the long term, the whole Jacob and Roman thing, it'll play itself out. Maybe when Roman goes away again, Jacob will take over. But boy, it feels like we're a long ways off from that. So yeah, not happy about that whole tag team title situation. But yeah, I mean, as far as Kaz and Enzo, I think that would be a great place to do it. I still feel very strongly you're going to get the initial pop. They're going to get a great reaction those first few months. Everybody who loves to chant and sing, they're going to have all their catchphrases and SAWFT, soft. Like they're going to do all that stuff. And it's going to burn itself out after a few months when they realize that they don't have anybody to work with because they don't have a tag team division. So I kind of look at this and I'm like, I totally understand why Bill would want to leave and go back to WWE because Tony Khan obviously only sees him at a certain level. And honestly, I feel bad that he never did get that blow off with Jericho last year. That when Jericho went away, that really screwed him over. And Tony didn't really seemingly have any interest in doing anything else with him. If he goes back to WWE and just does the tag team thing, and he's got him and his little buddy, and they're going around doing their catchphrases, that's cute and all, but what is the plan for Bill 6 months from now? I feel like he's just going to be in the same place he was in AEW. I think you're putting a ceiling on him unnecessarily if you don't do something with him as a single. So that's my hope, is that there is maybe a plan, not too far down the road, but maybe down the road to kind of break him off on his own. I feel like Enzo would be much better as a manager for him, but that's just me.
You'll get Enzo and Cass in the Judgment Day for 6 months, bro, and you'll like it.
Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be tremendous. Maybe you'll throw a match with Los Garza in there somewhere.
Maybe.
You know, we'll get one of those.
Aren't they moved down to AAA now?
I don't know. Every now and then they pop up on SmackDown.
Yeah, apparently
Aren't they always barging into Danhausen's laboratory.
Yeah,
looking for him.
They want their human monies back too. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently he's taking money from everybody. It still makes me just laugh. Like this whole thing with the Judgment Day, we hear about it every single week. You stole money from us. You stole money from us. And again, they never that segment that they're referring to never even aired on TV. Like, I think there was something that was put together for social media where I guess McDonough like gave him $100,000 or something. I'm pretty sure that never actually aired on the TV show. But this entire thing is built around him stealing money from them. That's the whole basis of this program.
So he's a shisty vampire. Is that what he is? He's a shyster?
He's a thief.
I guess
He's like
so.
a con man. He does these experiments that don't work, and he takes money from people, and then he runs away, right? Or there'll be a little puff of smoke, and then he'll run away. Like, dude, he's a thief. He should be in jail. He steals money from people. This is his gimmick.
Well, whatever it is, it's working. And right now, he will be featured in one of the bigger matches at Saturday Night's Main Event coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, can we talk about that? Okay. So we have Saturday Night's Main Event is coming up on July 18th. Now, obviously, they're going to add more matches to the show, but not that many, right? Typically, they have, 4 matches maybe?
I think the last one they had 5 matches.
Did they have 5? Oh,
Yes.
my God. Okay, so right now we have 2 matches announced. The show is less than 2 weeks away. This Madison Square Garden card, currently, as it stands right now, has Danhausen against J.D. McDonough and Paige and Brie Bella against Fatal Influence.
Oh, man, I can't wait for that one.
Oh, my God, this is amazing. Madison Square Garden's going to be rocking. Holy shit, are you kidding me? What is this card? What is this?
Now, what would it take? My question to you is, what would it take for you to actually pay monies to go sit there and watch this?
Human monies.
Yeah, human monies, yeah.
I wouldn't, because the prices there are astronomical. What would it take?
What could they possibly add to make that show at least somewhat stomachable?
Well, I mean, what I figure they're going to add, I mean, I know we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves here, but I have to imagine we're going to get a singles match between Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn on that show. A #1 contenders match.
Oh, you think so?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that, we're going to get a singles match at SummerSlam, and you got 2 guys that have a claim to getting a championship rematch, right? Cody never got his rematch last night. I would have to think you have to have at least one of your big guns in the main event on that show. This show is awful so far. So I have to imagine they're saving like a big announcement for what that main event is going to be. Cody and Sami with the winner going to SummerSlam to wrestle Punk is what I'm thinking right now.
Well, WWE needs to put some fucking logs on that fire, because that show right now is not even worth covering the way that it sits. We'll talk about Sami and him and Cody and Punk and where he may fit into all these plans. I had a lot to say last night about the Sami Zayn aspect of this, so we'll get to that in a second. Let's keep on track here with some of the other names that could be ending up in WWE. Jason mentioned one from TNA, and there was another rumor on Bishop Dyer, which we'll talk about as well. But the TNA name is Eric Young. Now, he's left TNA. TNA confirmed that Eric Young has been released, and Fightful Select Sean Ross Sapp has since confirmed that Young had asked for his release. So Eric Young had long worked in TNA without a contract, but had fairly recently signed a short-term deal. Shocker there. Those short-term deals have become the norm in the company. Eric Young has had a long relationship with Triple H, and WWE sources have long said that the door for his return is open. Triple H didn't want Eric Young to leave to begin with, but when Eric Young found out Vince McMahon had become involved in the WWE creative again years ago, that basically said to himself, I'm out of here. I don't want to work for Vince, and he asked for his release from the WWE. Sources that Fightful spoke to expected him to go there, though the specific role was unclear. Then we find out, Jason, that his role will probably end up being a mentor/coach and on-air talent, kind of like what Sean Spears is doing on NXT. I think that's a good spot for him. I watched TNA here and there, and he still can go very much. And he's got a lot of mileage, a lot of knowledge, so.
Hula Grim.
What happened?
This is so terrible. Hula Grim says Eric Young is 78 years old.
Oh, listen, he's
been around for a while.
He has.
He definitely has some miles on the body. There's no doubt about it.
But he wrestled Ricky Sosa, and he looked pretty good.
He did. But I mean, let's recap here. He was in WWE previously. I know you always talk about the black and gold days, and he was sort of like part of the last vestiges of the black and gold days as part of Sanity. And maybe you were a bigger fan than I was. I was never like big fan of Sanity. Honestly.
Nikki Cross and the entrance, and that was basically it for me.
Yeah, I just wasn't really a big fan of theirs. But, even I can admit, like, they got shafted once they got called up. They never really had a chance. I mean, they were done before they even walked in the door
Vince saw Big Damo and saw what he looked like without a shirt on, and that was it. It was over.
Yeah, basically. So he never got a fair shake. He did have, I can't even call it a singles run. I mean, he had a handful of singles matches on Raw, and that was pretty much the end of it at that point. Like, he got cut during COVID in 2020. So like you said, like, he came back. He never wrestled, but he actually came back in 2022. And then when the Vince McMahon stuff was bubbling up again, he decided, you know what? I cannot work for this man. Morally, he said.
Good for him.
I can't. Well, yes, it is kind of funny, though, because he had said, I don't think it was the same interview, but a few years ago, he spoke very highly of Triple H. And maybe it was tongue in cheek, but he did make the comment, like, I would hide a dead body for that man. So, like, I hear that and I'm like, morally, I can't work for Vince McMahon, but I would totally hide a dead body for this guy. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, that's interesting. Little moral ambiguity there.
Do you remember the Bobby Fish comment while he was still employed with AEW, and he went on a podcast, I don't know which one, and he said, I would go to war for Triple H while he was still contracted to AEW on television with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. And then after that, he was never used again.
Well, I mean, of course, because look, you have these two companies that are competing with each other, and one of your people is like, "Oh yeah, I'd go to war for this guy." Like, gee, I wonder who the mole is here. So yeah, I mean, that was pretty much the end of him at that point. But Eric Young, he feels very highly of Triple H, and I'm sure they would happily bring him back. It sounds like you said a player coach type of thing, which probably is honestly for the best. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know what kind of coach he would make, but he's been around, as Hooligrim said, 78 years old. And so he has all of this experience, and he's a very good wrestler. And yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting anything beyond that. I'm not expecting a main roster run, or anything like that. Who knows? Maybe at some point he ends up being a producer for them, like Bobby Roode, became, and he's very well regarded. So it was just surprising to me because that was the last name I would have expected. But yet, here's another example of a TNA star going to the company and requesting his release. Like, how many times have we heard this story this year? How many people have gone to TNA and requested their release?
It's over a dozen.
And he's Mr. TNA. This isn't just some random person on the roster. So it's troubling, but okay, cool. Eric Young going to go back. All right, that's fine. It's not going to, it has nothing to do with the main roster, but I think he has his contributions he can make.
He wrestled 6 matches in 2020. His last match was with Ricochet on WWE Main Event in Washington, D.C. He lost in 5 minutes.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. What was his plan when he came back a second time and Triple H took him back and then he asked for his release because Vince was there? Wasn't he supposed to work with the Wyatt family?
There was a plan, as it was explained to him by Triple H. It was going to be at least a trio of Bray, Bo, and him.
Ooh,
in sort of like a more modern day Wyatt family type thing. And it just never happened. Which I'm sure in his mind, like, given what happened to Bray, knowing that you had the chance to kind of work with this person and you were told that you were going to work with this person and, it didn't pan out and then things happening the way they did, I'm sure that, it's a pretty shitty feeling for him.
Yeah. Yeah, so Eric Young reportedly on his way back to WWE. And then Bishop Dyer, apparently we got news on him this week as well. Locked out of MLW with the WWE return rumors picking up. So Bishop Dyer's time in MLW may finally be coming to an end, and this happened on MLW Fusion Saturday night. Baron Corbin, the former Baron Corbin, is in the middle of a storyline contract dispute with the company and has been for weeks, and he has now been locked out by MLW management due to what was described as unreasonable demands. So now he may be on his way back to WWE, rumored to be a part of this Danhausen laboratory situation, and he may actually end up being the body underneath that white cloth on the gurney that's in the laboratory. That's what we know so far. That's all.
I think that's what we all assume. Who else would it be?
Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman ain't gonna fit on that gurney. He's a little too big for that. Braun Strowman, you think Braun Strowman would actually come back if they went to him and said, "Hey, we're gonna have you with this comedy guy on the show. This is our great plan for Braun Strowman. We want to bring you in with Danhausen." I get the I don't know, I get the sense that he wouldn't go for that. He thinks he's bigger than that, which honestly he is. He's worked with all the top stars there at one time or another. Wouldn't that be a downgrade for him?
I think so. I've watched his show a handful of times. That whatever his show is, the food show after SmackDown.
Everything actually on the menu.
Everything on the menu. It's very entertaining. I think he's got a nice life after pro wrestling with what he's doing now. So I think
and he's made comments before about, "Oh yeah, I'd go back if they paid me." I don't think they're paying him what he would want to be paid if that's the only thing they have for him to do is lay on a fucking gurney. So
no.
Not going to be Braun Strowman, but I guess we're just waiting to find out when Franken Corbin is going to rise off the gurney.
We will see that hopefully soon. So that is the latest there as far as WWE returns, TNA, Eric Young, and then obviously Corbin there, possibly coming back to the WWE. Someone who's not coming back, unfortunately, and someone that Jason and I are big fans of, and that is Sheamus. Sheamus is not coming back to the company. And this news broke literally 48 hours ago. And it's actually very sad the way things have transpired here. Sheamus is done with the WWE. Still under contract as of this moment, though. Sheamus has signed a new deal back in 2023, in which he had previously said was a 5-year contract. However, it was claimed to Fightful that somehow the deal is up soon. So it must have been a 3-year deal, not a 5-year deal, though the circumstances weren't made clear.
No, it was a 5-year deal. I mean, that comes directly from Sheamus.
So it was a 5-year deal.
It was a 5-year deal that he signed. It would have been late 2024. So he's either 2 years or almost 2 years into what was a 5-year deal. So, yeah, the math is not mathing here. But what I'm going to assume is that they went to him and they asked him to take a pay cut. He refused. And it wasn't a case where they went, "Oh, okay, guess we can't do anything about it." They obviously came to some sort of understanding, and he's going to be a free agent very soon, right? I mean, if you butt heads, right? If you go to this person and say, "Look, we're presenting you with a 50% or a 30% pay cut," and that person says, "No, you signed me to this amount of money, and this is what you're going to pay me," and so you have this difference of opinion, then I would imagine at that point, if you can't come to some sort of understanding, you let that person walk.
Yeah.
That's what I assume happened here, because this wasn't just like a Meltzer report. I mean, Sheamus sat down with Chris Van Vliet and he said, "Yeah, I just recently signed a 5-year contract and I was just joking with my wife about it. I'll be 52 when it's over." So we're definitely not anywhere close to 5 years into this deal.
Well, if that is the way everything went down, it was claimed to Fightful that he was offered a restructured extension and clearly rejected it. AEW sources had no idea that this news was coming this week. According to those that we spoke to in the company, Sheamus and Claudio, the former Cesaro, remain close, and Claudio is expected to be one of many to push for Sheamus in AEW. However, it was noted by one AEW source that CMLL and outside of AEW are options for them to continue to work together. He's expected to have heavy interest from both indies, both domestically and abroad, as well as on the signing and convention scene, and he's based out of Nashville. It's been, obviously you see him and Rusev hanging out. They're over each other's houses drinking Guinness, and supposedly they are neighbors where they are in Nashville. One WWE source that they spoke to, Fightful, claimed that Sheamus was offered less money to stay in WWE, and they considered that an insult after all the work he put in. Now, regarding the Sheamus name, his real name is Stephen Farley. However, he did Farley. Am I pronouncing that right? Farley.
No, I believe you are. I made the mistake. When I talked about him the other day, I referred to him as Stephen Farrelly, and people have not let me hear the end of it because I am being raked over the coals for it. Like, oh, man. Boy, I didn't know Sheamus was an Italian, and so like over and over and over again, like Sheamus is the Italian Irishman.
It's a me, Sheamus.
It's a me. Yeah.
It's Farrelly.
Okay, good. So,
usually, Jason's the one correcting me about that mispronunciation over here.
Boy, did I botch this one.
However, he did use the Sheamus O'Shaughnessy name outside of WWE.
Yeah. Shaughnessy.
Oh, Shaughnessy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Outside of WWE for years. MJF actually tweeted that or Instagrammed that on social media this week, kind of leading to some speculation that he could end up in AEW. He used that name outside of WWE for years, so it's not unreasonable to think he could still use it now post WWE. So Fightful is working on that name to see if he could actually use that and get confirmation there. Sheamus does have representation, says Sap. I believe he's represented by Nick LaPiccolo. And while nobody has anything against Sheamus personally, not everybody likes him, people in AEW aren't really thrilled with the idea of him joining the company. And this comes directly from Brian Alvarez. And he says, and I quote, I did talk to a lot of people today, this was a couple days ago, in AEW who were like, are we really going to take this guy? And let me make this abundantly clear. Everyone I talked to was like, I really like Sheamus. I really do like him. But the basic gist of it is there are so many people under contract and there are so many people that already can't even get on TV. We're going to hire another 48-year-old. Everyone's got ideas like Sheamus and Cesaro being in the Death Riders, which would be great. Nobody has anything against him personally. It was just sort of like, here comes another one because the New Day's probably coming in. Sheamus would be coming in, the Motor City Machine Guns. And that's 3 slots that people have been there for a long time or who should be on the way up that are going to get iced out again, and people really aren't thrilled about that idea. So we'll save the AEW part of this towards the end, Jason, but the fact of the matter is here, and I said this, I'm not sure how you felt about this whole developing story. Sheamus is 48 years old, and I think anybody currently watching the WWE product knows exactly how TKO is going to operate. They operate their payroll and their roster as if they're managing a baseball team or a football team. They don't love professional wrestling like the fans love professional wrestling. They're going to do what they have to do to basically keep their debt in line and wither their debt down. Sheamus being 48 years old is not going to be someone that the company's going to push at a high level. He's not going to be a guy that's going to be on the marquee making money for the company. He's not going to be that big name that fans are going to rush out to see like a Punk or a Roman Reigns. He's 48 years old, and TKO is probably going to take that money, invest it in a 22 or 23-year-old, and pay them less. They want to dictate what pro wrestlers make in the company, and the old guard, unfortunately, that were there during Vince McMahon's time, that were making X amount of money, they're not going to be able to make that money anymore. So you look at someone like Sheamus, and then you think of people like The Miz, who are there, and R-Truth, who are at that age, and they're really tenured, 20 years. What's going to happen to them? Is this same fate going to happen to them? Because we're seeing a string of dynamite kind of explode one by one. And it's like these guys don't care about the legends. They don't care about the old guard that set the foundation for where we see the roster today. Sheamus should have been somebody that should have remained there and retired there, just like Xavier and Kofi and everybody else that got let go at that age. It sucks to see that this is how they handle their legends. And in this case, Sheamus, a future Hall of Famer, first ballot, no doubt.
Yeah, it was a big surprise to me to see that. I mean, I'm not shocked in finding out that it was a TKO, pay cut request that was denied. I mean, that shouldn't really come as a surprise to anybody. I'm convinced that, there are certain people in that company who I'm sure have already said yes to the pay cut.
Sure.
I have nothing to base this on. I'm just, again, this is my opinion. I would not be surprised if someone like Miz or whatever, accepted a pay cut, or certain other people that have been there who are only slotted at a certain level at this point, who even with a 50% pay cut are probably still making damn good money. We hear about the people that have said no because they're exiting the company. New Day, Sheamus. We don't hear about anybody who may have said yes. And I'm sure that's already happened, right? We just may not find out about it. I see it from both sides. I see it from the perspective of TKO, where they're looking at this and they're saying, okay, this guy is, getting up there in years, but he's also been injured. He's been out the whole year, right? He has not wrestled a single match this year so far because he had shoulder surgery in December. And it's not the first injury he's had. He had neck issues. He has spinal stenosis. He's not being utilized in the way that he was maybe when he signed the contract, 2 or 3 years ago.
Funny enough, his last appearance was John Cena's last appearance.
At Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah. And so they're looking at it and going, well, let's just say Sheamus is getting paid $1 million, $1.2 million a year. Because I would imagine it's probably like low 7 figures. And TKO is going to look at this and go, okay, are we getting $1.2 million worth of, our investment out of this person? And if the answer is no, they're going to go to him and say, look, okay, this is what we think you're worth. Take it or leave it. And good on Sheamus, because Sheamus is looking at this, I would imagine, and saying, no, I signed for this amount. This is what you agreed to. When he signed the contract, if it was 2024, TKO already owned the company. It's not like that contract was inherited. He would have signed a new deal. The company was already under new ownership for over a year at that point. So they knew what they were getting into. They knew what they were buying, and now they want to go back on that. If I'm Sheamus, I'm probably feeling the same way. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. This is what you are supposed to pay me. If you don't want to pay me, I'm going to walk. And it's probably also a matter of pride. You know, the guy's put in almost 20 years. He's, you know, all the bumps and bruises and injuries, and this person comes over maybe that he doesn't even know, and they're like, here, this is what we want to pay you now. It's probably like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I can understand that being the mentality. But from TKO's perspective, like you said, they don't have that emotional attachment to these people. If it was, let's say, Vince might feel a certain loyalty to someone who's been with him for so long. And it doesn't have to be Vince. I mean, it could have been any other owner if it's their company, right? It's not a corporate entity owning the entire company. They may have a personal relationship with this particular talent, and they may be like, no, you know what? We're going to take care of this guy. Like, there are stories when Vince inherited the company or bought the company from his father, that his father said, look, you take care of these people. And like Gorilla Monsoon was one of those people. And there were certain people that he took care of. And they basically had jobs for life. But in this case, this is a very different situation here in terms of TKO owning the company. So I understand from their perspective, but at the same time, it's very sad because you're going to have a lot of these veteran influences that are going to start to go away because they're not going to stick around and they're going to get weeded out. And I think it's valuable having people like that, probably even in the locker room. Look at the uproar when R-Truth got fired, right? Or claimed he got fired. I mean, that whole thing was, I think they were allowing his contract to expire. But it wasn't just the fans who were upset, right? There were stories about talent who were like, what the hell? You can't let this guy go.
Yeah, so, I had watched Unreal really late compared to everybody else. Road Dogg was in fucking tears on Unreal about R-Truth getting released.
Because they have a relationship that goes back 25 years. He was the one, I think, who really took him under his wing when Truth was first breaking into the business. So, like, they're thick as thieves going back to freaking NWA TNA days.
Yeah.
Or even before that, I guess, because they were doing their thing in WWF in 2000. Remember K-Quick?
Yeah.
We're getting rowdy. Right? You remember that, right? It's a catchy song, man. So, yeah, I mean, Road Dogg getting emotional, that's not surprising because they've known each other for so long. It's just very sad because he's gonna leave. He's already in the alumni section on the website. I don't know when his contract is officially up, like when he'll be a free agent exactly. It could be a matter of weeks. It still could be a couple of months. We don't know. But it's just a shame that he's not going to have any sort of real send-off. I'm not saying he should get a retirement. He's not retiring. Nothing like that. But like, he just kind of goes out with a whimper. It is kind of cool that his last match was in Madison Square Garden, teaming with Rey Mysterio and John Cena. But I don't know, he just sort of fades away now. And outside of people like you and me and people who are like really into the behind the scenes type of news and we're aware of this, there's a lot of fans out there who are going to have no idea that Sheamus is gone. You think they're going to make some sort of public announcement?
No.
You think they're going to wish him well in his future endeavors? Probably not. They'll just let him, leave, and that'll be the end of it. And it's kind of sad that 19 years, 20 years, and this is how it comes to an end. But one thing he made very clear early last year when he sat down with Chris Van Vliet is that Chris asked him, like, do you have an end date here as far as when you are going to, wrap it up? And he said no. He goes, I'm going to go until the wheels fall off. I'm going to go until I physically cannot go anymore. So if anybody's wondering if he's going to retire and they're going to put him in the Hall of Fame, going by his own comments, he ain't going to retire. He's not done yet.
Well, I hope that he doesn't. I mean, he's 40. Let's not treat 48 years old as like, oh my God, he's one foot in the retirement home. I mean, he was one of the most consistent talents, not even in WWE, in all of the business. You put that man in the ring with anybody, and it's legitimately a banger match. And he said so. It wasn't just a catchphrase. So I don't know where he's going to end up. You know, he can do the independent thing. He can do the conventions and the signings and command whatever the hell he wants, and he's going to make a boatload of money, and he's not going to even blink about how much money he's going to make. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and look.
And selfishly, I hope he ends up on the Indies so you and me get to call a match of his because I fucking love him. You know?
Yeah, I mean, that would be fantastic. I think there's a lot of indies that feel the same way that would love to get him in. You know, he's got that WWE pedigree, and you know you're going to get a banger match out of him on top of it. He's not just going to coast on his name.
No.
Right? There are people who I'm sure would be very content to just coast on their name. He doesn't strike me as the kind of person who's going to do that. When you look at the options out there, you come to the obvious candidates. AEW, TNA. Would he want to work internationally? Right? That could potentially be an option for him. But probably, you know, if he wanted to sign a contract for a good amount of money and wanted to be on TV, then it would be AEW or TNA. I don't know if TNA could afford him, quite frankly. And so that leaves AEW, where you know he's got a lot of friends there. You know he's got a lot of people there who he has worked with in the past, including the man that he gave Edge's last match to him in WWE. Right? They had Edge's last match was on SmackDown against Sheamus, and it was a damn good match too.
Yeah, what a full circle moment that would be if Sheamus gives Copeland his last match in AEW.
And then Copeland gives him maybe his first match, you know, coming into AEW. Wouldn't that be something?
That's crazy.
So, yeah, and so I think it was Fightful and you know, Sean Ross Sapp who mentioned that Claudio is someone who either is going to bat or expected to go to bat for him, which makes sense. I mean, the two of them are friends. They, you know, former tag team champions together. I'm sure he would love to get Sheamus. Can you imagine Sheamus as a Death Rider? Right?
I could actually.
We are living in a timeline where that could very well become, you know, possible. But like you said, like the most consistent entertainer, the most consistent performer on that show, I would say really since he came back from that first shoulder injury a couple of years ago, because he came back and he really wasn't doing much of any significance on Raw. They would send him out there with Ludwig Kaiser or JD McDonough or Rusev or whoever. But every single time he was out there, like, I don't think there's such a thing as a bad Sheamus match.
No.
If you look back over the last few years. And he always got the crowd, you know, invested in it. And it was just a battle every time he was out there in the ring. So you know what you're going to get out of him. Like, if you're Tony Khan, and like Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Radio was the one who made those comments about there are people in AEW who are like, really, we're going to bring this guy in when we can barely get airtime on AEW television? Totally understand it. And I'm not one of these people who is like, every cast off from WWE, Tony Khan should sign them. But if you're Tony Khan, like, are you really going to say no to the New Day and the Motor City Machine Guns and bolstering your tag team division? If Sheamus was interested in coming in, and again, if Nick LaPiccolo is still representing him, and we know how Nick feels about Tony Khan and AEW, at the end of the day, if you're an agent, you're representing your client. If your client wants to go in there, then they'll have to negotiate something. And do you think if Tony Khan found out that Sheamus had an interest in coming in, he would be like, nope, sorry, we're putting a moratorium on all these WWE guys? He would jump at the opportunity. He knows, like, Tony Khan's all about banger matches. Who better than Sheamus to bring in? He'll have a banger match with everybody on that roster. And it doesn't matter if it's a Claudio or a Copeland or if it's a Kevin Knight or a Speedball or anybody else.
I'm not even thinking about those guys. I'm thinking about Sheamus and Will Ospreay, Sheamus and Swerve, Sheamus and Hangman. I'm like, holy fuck.
See, but what you're what you're talking about there, you're already putting him in the ring in main events. Look at this. This guy's putting him in the main event of fucking like Full Gear here. I'm just talking about it in terms of, like, he doesn't have to be in main events. He could just be someone who's on the show who contributes in some capacity and works with everybody from the bottom of the card, potentially all the way to the top. He's very consistent as long as he can stay healthy. You know what you're going to get out of him. So to me, if I'm Tony Khan, that's exactly the kind of person that I want on my roster. But I can understand people in the company who are trying to scratch and claw their way up, like, oh, here we go again. You know, another WWE guy, almost 50 years old, and coming in to take a spot away from everybody who's on the bottom, trying to get to the top. So
I get it. If I'm Tony Khan, I would absolutely explore the option as well. No matter what. That's just me. But you have to ask the question. He brought in Copeland. He brought in Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. Those guys didn't really make a lick of a difference anywhere as far as like gaining a new fan base or ratings wise. They didn't really do anything. It hurts them they can't even find their way on television. I don't know where they are. Sheamus coming in would be great, but he's not going to be a difference maker like those guys.
No.
You know, is it something that you really need to start thinking about as far as AEW and what they want AEW to look like, what Tony wants AEW to look like? What's the vision? Do you want it to be a WWE ex-WWE landfill, or do you want to start building the future so that you have a Kevin Knight and a Kyle Fletcher, you know, ready to go at the top of the card to be the future of the company?
Well, he is building the future with those guys. That's why those guys are being pushed. I think he feels like he could do both. Like, we can build some of those guys, like the ones you just mentioned, and at the same time, we can bring in, let's say, you know, people like this, and whether it's on Dynamite or Collision, or he sends them to Ring of Honor to do some stuff there as well. He can also take these people and put them out there to have great wrestling matches, right? We can get the best of both worlds here. So I think you mentioned, like, okay, what's the goal here? Do we want to be the land of, you know, castaways from WWE? I think he's just looking at it, like in this case, he would look at it and say, okay, he's thinking of all of these dream scenarios that he can put Sheamus into, and I can plug him in here with this person and this person. Oh, we have this guy in the roster that I want to push. Sheamus would be a great person for this guy to work with. Maybe he's looking at it just from that perspective of just, he can go out there and give you the output in the ring that you're looking for. He doesn't have to be a difference maker. He's not, like you said, the ratings are not going to shoot up because Sheamus is on TV. Maybe there would be like an initial curiosity factor if they built it up. Big ex-WWE name is coming in or something like that. But no, he's not going to. In WWE, he wasn't that kind of difference maker. Very few people are, honestly, in wrestling today. You're talking like, what, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns,
Brock Lesnar.
MJF. Yeah, sure. But like an AEW, MJF would be. Yeah. You could probably count him on one hand, maybe part of two. So no, he's not bringing these guys in because he thinks it's going to add 50,000 buys or 100,000 buys to his next pay-per-view. I think he's just looking at it as, oh, wow, it'd be really cool to have this guy. I'm a big fan of his, and man, all the great matches that we can have him be a part of. I think that's how he looks at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad way to look at it. I mean, I adore the Bar. I thought they were fucking phenomenal. If you can get those guys back together in AEW and center them in a tag team division that's already great as it is, and now you're bringing in the Machine Guns and possibly the New Day.
Oh my God!
I mean, that's just fucking insane. I mean, that's just like otherworldly at this point.
Oh my God. And we're talking about how awful the tag team division in WWE is right now. So, I mean, it is dreadful, dude. Like, so if you want to try to separate yourself from those guys and you think that tag team wrestling can still sell and be a big deal in 2026, I believe it can. That's one way that you can separate yourself out from those guys. Instead of trying to be them, and I'm not saying he's trying to be them. I'm just saying, like, it can be hard to stand out. Like, what can AEW offer that WWE isn't doing right now? There's actually a lot, and that's one of them, because the WWE tag team situation is a disaster right now. AEW, I feel like, is on the cusp of this period where it would almost be like 5 or 6 years ago when they had that tag team division.
Yeah,
you know, all those great teams they had, and so they could have that. So why not? I mean, that's one way that you can kind of separate yourself out. I will admit, I don't know if his body could hold up to it, but the idea of Sheamus in the C2 is kind of appealing to me.
Yes.
Like, that could be fun. Like, him being on TV, having matches as part of that round robin tournament and being in the Continental Classic, I think that would be cool.
I'm already thinking about the Bar being back together against the Hurt Syndicate, Cope and Christian, fucking Brodito.
Yeah, Brodito, but I don't just want to rematch him with all his, old friends and opponents from WWE. Where it would appeal to me is him being in matches I've never seen him in before. I don't want to see him against fucking Edge. I've seen it already. What the hell do I need that for?
Well, then the tag team champions. Why not? For now, anyway.
All right, but I'm not thinking of Sheamus being in a tag team right away.
Sheamus against Mark Briscoe. How about that one?
Sure. Why not?
Why not?
That could be fun.
I think we as a community need to start celebrating what Sheamus did instead of looking down and blaming Triple H for dropping the ball and not booking him creatively right. Vince, I think it was 166 days is what I looked up. 166 days after he made his debut on the main roster, he was already WWE champion in a feud with John Cena.
Oh my God, dude. Like, his first championship that he ever won, at least on the main roster, was the WWE title, and he beat John Cena on pay-per-view to do it. And still to this day, there are people who think, oh, it was a botch. he wasn't supposed to win.
No, it was
One of those wrestling conspiracies, like, oh, because you remember it was a tables match.
Yes.
And there were people, oh, he wasn't supposed to win. That wasn't supposed to happen. There are still people who believe that.
Well, yeah, Vince gave him a second reign after that, and he beat John Cena there too. So
yeah, yeah. And look, his first WrestleMania match was only a few months after that. He was wrestling Triple H.
I know.
So like, really, from like, you know what it reminds me of? Honestly, now that I think about it, Razor Ramon. When Razor came in, like in late '92, within a couple of months, I think he was tagging with Ric Flair against Savage and Perfect. He was wrestling Bret at the Rumble for the world title. Like,
yeah.
It didn't take very long for him to be mixing it up with the top guys and really heavily pushed. So there's some similarities there. He was pushed pretty quickly when he first came in.
It is very disappointing that Triple H did not give him that IC title moment at WrestleMania. I mean, that should have absolutely happened, and it should have been against Gunther. I don't know why it didn't happen, but we may never get that now. So I ask you, Jason, what was his best match in 19 years in WWE? Does one match stick out to you as far as what he's done?
Oh, man. I mean, it's got to be Clash at the Castle.
Yeah.
I think it has to be. I mean, first of all, it was a great match, but just the setting and just this huge crowd, and they were going nuts for what these guys were doing. And then when it was over, the ovation they gave him, standing ovation.
Yeah.
It was great. It was great. So I think of that, and I mean, not for nothing, that triple threat of WrestleMania 39 may be number 2.
Yes.
Honestly, what a great match that was. And then there was an Extreme Rules match that he had with Daniel Bryan in 2012. It was actually the month after he beat Bryan in 18 seconds. That was great. You could go down the list. There's been a ton of great matches, but if I had to narrow it down to one, I think it's got to be Clash at the Castle.
And if you're a betting man, he lands in AEW in your opinion?
Yeah. I would say so. There's better than 90% chance he ends up in AEW.
A possible gauntlet match inclusion at Wembley Stadium. We'll see.
Well, I mean, that depends, I guess, on when he's going to be a free man. But him debuting at Wembley, I would say that would get quite the reaction if he walked out.
So Sheamus is no longer with WWE. He will be missed. 19 years of service. Wherever he goes, we will be paying attention for sure. Let's shift gears to, you know what? I'm going to shift gears to AEW, being that we're talking about AEW, and then we'll
blame him.
Yeah, you can blame me. You can blame me. You can blame me. And then we'll end with the CM Punk discussion, because I think that's going to take the majority of our time anyway. So Dynamite on Wednesday. I know AEW, we've both talked about it on our respective platforms, and it's very palpable. You see it every month. There's a pay-per-view. The following Dynamite usually shits the bed. It is just bad television. And we've made no secret about that. Wednesday's show finally corrected a very long-standing drought of these terrible shows following pay-per-views. And Forbidden Door wasn't anything all that exciting, so I wasn't really expecting much. But what Dynamite did on Wednesday, and I said this to Jesse, I feel like, it was very WWE-centric, meaning they started off hot, they gave you a big angle, it was threaded throughout the entire show, and then all that you saw throughout the 2 hours landed in the main event segment and led to a big conclusion and a big reveal that Kenny Omega is accepting MJF's challenge for the title match next week, or this Wednesday, in Clearwater, Florida. I thought what they did, Jason, on Wednesday, just speaking as far as a flow of the show and a consistency of the show, I thought they did very well. And those are the best shows to me, when you have a storyline threaded throughout the entire 2 hours and there's a payoff at the end and it gets you excited about the following week. They followed the most simplest of formulas and they nailed it. I wish every week was like that. I'm not really expecting every week to be like that. But what they did on Wednesday, they hit a home run.
Yeah, I would agree. I think we all knew how the Mark Briscoe match was going to go.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any real surprise there. Apparently, Briscoe is injured. I don't know what the nature of the injury is, but apparently is a legitimate injury. So he may be gone for a while.
Well, he didn't really hold back on that match if he was injured then.
No, and I don't know if he was hurt in that match or if he was hurt in the cage match. But Brian Alvarez is saying it is a legitimate injury. I guess on Collision, there was a segment in the back with the conglomeration where he wasn't there, but I think it was Kyle O'Reilly who made mention of the fact that he had gotten hurt and he's going to be away for a while. So, I mean, yeah, they had a good match, but we all knew, like, okay, we got to just get this out of the way because we all know what the match is going to be. It's going to be MJF and Kenny Omega. And then they go and they announce it for TV this week. And I'm like, what? Because everything, like how many references to redemption have they dropped on television, right? Talking about redemption.
Kenny himself had to mention at least 3.
And MJF may have mentioned it in one of his promos as well. So, and it just kind of fits, especially if he really is going to win this belt from MJF, right? He gets his redemption finally. And then they're like, oh no, we're going to do it at Beach Break. I'm like, excuse me? Like I was stunned. I was stunned by this announcement. And then they go and they add the stipulation, which we already had a few months ago, where if you lose and I win, now notice he didn't say if you fail to win the championship.
Yes.
He just said if you lose and I win, you can never again challenge for the AW World title.
I got to ask, was it different language to Hangman? Hangman had to win the title, right?
I don't remember.
That would be kind of silly if they changed the rules just for this specific situation. You know?
I don't know if they changed the rule. He may have phrased it the same way. I'd have to go back and hear that promo again with
Chat,
Hangman.
do your investigative work, man. Tell us what happened with the Hangman MJF. Was it the same situation?
Yeah, I just don't remember. I look at this and I say, okay, is there a way out of this without having a decisive winner? And the answer is yes, because you could have a double DQ. You can have them go to a 60-minute draw on the show where nobody wins. To me, it almost doesn't even matter. Like, sure, you can do that, but like, why are you doing this match now? If the idea is that you're just going to run it back again at the pay-per-view 3 weeks later, I don't understand why you would, like, I don't like that. Save it for the pay-per-view. So I'm willing to wait and see. I'm hoping that there's a method to the madness here and there's a reason that they're doing this. But if that happens, if they go to a draw or there's no winner, a Hangman shows up and we don't get a decisive winner and we just run it back again in Montreal, like with what? No stipulation? The same stipulate? Like what would be the point of doing that? I don't understand that.
Scorpion Deathlock in the chat said it was self-imposed. Hangman said if he couldn't win, he would never challenge for the belt again.
Okay. So it's the same language then.
Yeah.
If you didn't specifically say win the championship, then it's the same language. I'm hoping it becomes clear when the show is over tomorrow why they're doing this. I mean, look, we get a big match on Dynamite tomorrow. That's cool. But if the idea is that we're going to do it twice, we'll do it tomorrow and then do it again at the end of the month. There better be a damn good reason why you're doing it this way, because I just think it's foolish to give it away in the same month and then come back with it 3 weeks later.
Well, I could see them. I don't necessarily see them going 60 minutes. Not on the same show with Fletcher and Takeshita wrestling.
No,
I mean,
I'm just saying if they went to a draw though, usually the world title matches have a 60-minute time limit.
A count out would be boring. DQ would be kind of disappointing. Mm-hmm. I said on Wednesday, and call me crazy, I just can't get over this notion that Mick Foley's wrestling at All In. I think that something happens and MJF gets himself disqualified and it leads to Kenny winning. He doesn't win the title. We get the match at Redemption because there's absolutely no way they're taking the belt off MJF in Clearwater, Florida at the fucking amphitheater tomorrow night. That's insane to me. That's ridiculous.
Well, I wouldn't say there's no chance. I think there's a chance.
Fine, there's a chance for sure. Hopefully it's a very small chance, and hopefully the right outcome prevails tomorrow with him at least going to the pay-per-view if you're going to take the belt off of him in Montreal. How you don't do a title change in Montreal when Kenny's Canadian is just stupid to me. I honestly think that something's going to happen. MJF's going to bend the rules and try and cheat. He's going to get caught or disqualified. Kenny's going to win. We'll get the match in Redemption again. And I think Mick Foley's going to end up being the special guest referee. I think MJF laid down the law here. Omega accepted. Kenny wants another title match, and he wants his stipulation, which is a special guest referee. And I think Mick Foley's going to be the special guest referee, which is going to end up leading to Kenny beating MJF at the pay-per-view and leading to MJF versus Mick Foley at All In. That's what I'm predicting.
I could very well see that happen.
I hope I'm wrong.
So you think it's a red herring then when Foley is doing all these interviews where he's like, I'm probably a couple of years away from being in fighting shape?
Well, I didn't listen to him. All I remember is Tony Khan saying at the last media scrum that Mick Foley's not going to be at Forbidden Door, but he would love to be at Redemption. He said that exactly the way that I just said it.
Yes, he did. He sounded like somebody who didn't work for the company and was a fan, hoping that Mick Foley might be at. And I'm like, well, you're the one running the company, so is he going to be there or not? I could absolutely, what you just laid out, I could see that playing out exactly that way if the plan is to have Mick Foley wrestle at All In. I'm not really
Or this whole Darby situation where he says he doesn't want to wrestle Mick Foley one-on-one. Maybe we get a tag team match with Darby and Mick versus MJF and who knows who. I don't know.
Who would he even partner with?
I don't know.
We just had that at Forbidden Door, and everybody that was his partner hates his guts. Yeah, he's got no friends. I mean, everybody hates his
maybe he can ask you to be a fucking tag team partner.
Slide into the DMs and ask the question. I'll see what I can do. But I mean, look, I don't think he's walking into Wembley as the champion. Whether he loses it tomorrow or more likely a redemption, it does feel to me like he's just not making it to London with the championship. They're going to want to do Kenny and Ospreay, and they've dropped so many hints for it. Like it almost would surprise me if MJF did go into Wembley with the title.
Don't you think it should be at least a triple threat match? At least.
I do. I think MJF has been the guy all year long. He's had all of these different challenges from the beginning of the year, right? With Brody King. Actually, the first title match of the year, I guess, would have been the one with Bandito. But he went from Bandito to Brody King, and then he wrestled, Hangman and everybody that he's worked with. He's the guy. He's their draw. He's their number one attraction. And now you're going into your biggest show of the year, and if you take the belt off him the month before, and then he has no role in that main event, it would feel off to me. Not that Omega and Ospreay is not a big match that you could do at Wembley. It is. But for MJF not to be involved would just feel wrong to me because he's been part of the world title picture, but for that 1 month that, Darby had the belt. And even then, we knew that they were going to have a rematch and he was going to get it back anyway. So it would be strange. It would be strange for him not to be in that main event.
It's strange to take the belt off of him when for weeks they've been building Andrade and him wanting MJF and the world champion. He wants to take the belt off MJF. Yeah, sure, he wants to be the world champion, but a lot of his problems have been with MJF. So if you take the belt off MJF, whether it's tomorrow or at Redemption, and we go into Arena Mexico, where I know you pitched the idea of Andrade and MJF, which would be phenomenal there. It doesn't really, it's going to be a great match no matter what, but it's not going to feel the same without the title being on the line. What do we do with that feud?
Well, I mean, if Kenny wins the championship between now and the end of the month, let's say he wins it at Redemption, then I could see them doing Kenny and Andrade at Arena Mexico because that show's like a week later.
Yeah.
And they have history from earlier this year. I believe the last time they wrestled, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Andrade beat him. So he could go and say, I have a win over Kenny Omega. They have a title match there. Kenny wins. Maybe MJF even plays a role in Andrade not winning. And maybe the play is not MJF and Mick Foley. Maybe the play is MJF and Andrade, but do it at Wembley.
Take the belt off MJF to take him out of the main event to put him in a match on the undercard against Andrade after he basically carried the company on his back all year. I mean, that's just a little ridiculous to me.
It would be quite the departure from what he's been doing. I'm just saying, like,
I know.
We know the match is coming. I'm just saying, maybe it's not Arena Mexico. Even though I do feel like, dude, like, come on. The heat that MJF is going to get in that building and as popular as Andrade is, how do you not put those two together? I mean, title or no title, how do you not put those two together on that show at Arena Mexico? How do you not do that?
How you know?
I don't. That's what worries me. I don't know. I wish I did. I don't. I'm hoping.
How you know?
How you know?
I don't know. He's getting it over. I mean, I thought it was a little ridiculous that he was trying so hard to get it over. But
can we appreciate, like, if you would have told me when Andrade came back to AEW, this guy's bounced back and forth like a rubber ball, okay, between these two companies over the last few years. And he comes back to AEW. I never would have expected him to be doing as well as he's been doing.
He's great.
Honestly.
He's good for him. This is a long time coming. This is the best he's looked since Black and Gold NXT.
He's reasonably pushed, right? He's on television pretty much every week. He's doing this gimmick with, the selfies with the women in the front row, ripping the pants off and everything, even though he's supposed to be a heel up until recently. People cheer him anyway, and now he's a babyface, and he's pretty over. And he's going out there and having great matches, and everything seems to be coming up aces for him. I don't know. I just didn't expect him to have as good of a run as he's had just based on the way things went last time. But I've been pleasantly surprised, by how well he's done.
We will see what happens there. So big title match tomorrow with MJF and Kenny Omega. They set the table for some unpredictability and something to look forward to. So kudos to Tony Khan there.
And then you look at this card tomorrow. It's almost like a little mini pay-per-view. I hate to say that. I hope Tony resists the urge to go 5 hours tomorrow night. But we have another championship match. And this one actually does make more sense to me, which is Takeshita defending the international title against Kyle Fletcher. Now, I would have expected this to be the redemption match as well, for the next pay-per-view. But then I remembered, Takeshita's in the G1 this year. So he's going to be going to Japan within probably the next week or so, and I think he's going to be gone for about a month. I don't think he's going to be at Redemption. So if that's the case, he may not be back until 2 weeks before Wembley. This is probably why they want to get this match done now. And if that's the case, I think there's a very good chance we're going to get a title change tomorrow night.
So he's in the G1. Why did they put the international title on him then? If this was the
that was the payoff. That was the payoff they held off so long on this match with Okada that by the time they did it, it had to be for the international title, and Takeshita had to win.
Well, he's defended the title against Danny Garcia, Lee Johnson, and Ricochet.
No, yeah. So if he loses it tomorrow, my guess is that they run it back with Okada in there and do a triple threat at Wembley, because Okada is tied into this too.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just my guess. He'll probably drop it tomorrow, and then you just kind of come back with all three of them in the ring together at Wembley. But yeah, as far as I know, he's going to be away, I think, for, if not the entire month, pretty much most of the next month. I know the G1 kicks off on the 11th. Funny enough, I think the first show is actually here in the States. But then you got that grueling tournament, for the next several weeks. So I don't think we're going to be seeing him.
Well, we got that match, two huge matches there. And then we got the Gauntlet match, number one contender for Thekla's AW Women's Championship at Redemption. And we had a couple of qualifying matches to determine who number one and number two is. Athena and Maya World won those spots. We don't know how many people are in this match. It's usually very random, but you have to earn these spots because the match could end at any time. And supposedly there's 21 people that are unannounced for this thing, and it could end before all 21 people hit the ring. But I know a lot of people are probably looking at Maya World getting some redemption here, and maybe going to Redemption herself and winning the title and maybe rematching with Mercedes. But I think you and me, Jason, are on the same wavelength, because Jesse and I talked about this as well, and we talked about Willow. Willow has been having these vignettes about coming back. They just crowned a new TBS champion, which was Hikaru Shida on Wednesday. Just a very thumbs down decision there. I don't think that really went off very well. We'll talk about that in a second. But Willow's coming back. They just crowned a new TBS champion. I'm assuming she's going to try and get her redemption, being that she was quote-unquote injured here, win this gauntlet, go beat Thekla, and with the rumor that she was originally supposed to win the Owen anyway, we'll probably go and rematch Willow and Mercedes at All In, which we talked about last week as well, because we talked about Willow's injury last week here on TNT. I think that is a very likely scenario tomorrow, but it's going to be difficult not to cheer for Maya World after she had such huge success at Forbidden Door.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear to me. She's probably going to be a surprise in the Gauntlet. They've been running these vignettes for her. It's just funny to me. They take the championship off of her because she's hurt. They wait an entire month to do this survival of the fittest match. Literally this past week, we finally crowned a new TBS champion, and I'm pretty sure she's going to be back on the show tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Which begs the question, is it a case where, again, she turned out not to be as injured as they thought, or was this all by design?
Well, I posed that question to you last week. I love a good conspiracy theory. I said right from the get-go, I don't even think she was injured. I don't want to say that's the case. I just, it's something that I'm thinking.
I don't know if that's the case, but it's hard to look at this and not think it, because it's almost like too perfect, where they didn't want to beat her. So why don't we find a different way to get the belt off of her where she doesn't have to lose it, because we have bigger plans for her. And so now she may win the Gauntlet. She may be the one to beat Thekla, and then she goes in as the defending champion at Wembley Stadium, and it all just sort of works out a little too well, if it works out that way.
Yeah.
And then I guess the question becomes okay, what happens there? Because the last time they wrestled, she beat Mercedes. And do you really want to take the belt off Willow after 1 month? Does Mercedes lose again? Does this become the thing with Mercedes where she's never going to win the belt? And this is sort of the gimmick where it's the one championship that she just cannot get her hands on.
What year of her contract are we in? Is this the third year she's been here? Mercedes?
Was 2024 her first year?
Oh, she
I
might
think
have
it was 2020. I think 2024 was her
Okay,
first
she
year.
got another year then. Yeah, I mean, you could do that. I mean, there's no rush if that's the case to put the belt on.
There's no rush. Here's the thing I don't like about that, though. That would be the second year in a row that she's won the Owen, and you've effectively wasted it.
Yeah.
By having her go in there and get beat. That's the one thing I don't like about that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a very tough situation. You can't put the belt on Willow and then immediately take it off of her. I mean, there's no reason why she even should have been removed. Listen, this is AEW.
Challenge accepted.
I know. I'm trying to think logically here, which is fucking ridiculous nowadays with these companies. I honestly, from me to you, I don't even care. I don't care who the champion is. Honestly, I think Thekla's getting the short end of the stick because she's been the best female that they've had, and now we're flip flopping back and forth with Willow and Mercedes and all these potential ideas. It's like, all right, what's Thekla doing? She's basically carried this division on her back since Mercedes has gone away, but nobody cares about those questions. We'll see. We got Kevin Knight. He wrestled Lio Rush as he continues to build his match towards Darby Allin in the TNT title match there. I don't know if that happens at Redemption. I figured that would be the all-in match, but that also may be the Redemption match there in Montreal. Kevin Knight and Darby. We had Moxley and Will Ospreay teaming up against the Swirl. For what reason? I don't know. Maybe Tony Khan can answer that question for us. I have no idea. Jay White cut a very good promo, and they are continuing that feud there with David Finlay and the Dogs, Statlander, Sheeta, Persephone, Micah, Harley Cameron, and Queen Aminata. Survival of the Fittest. Not really the best showing here. I never watched a Survival of the Fittest match take place. So this was my first. I wasn't really all that pleased or thrilled with what happened here. Sheeta ended up getting the win. When it came down to Sheeta and Stat, I was pulling for Stat, but the booking of Statlander has been very questionable as of late, and I really wonder what's going on there. I know wanted Persephone or Queen Aminata. I say Queen Aminata along with you. Neither one of those women won, but Persephone ended up costing Stat the match at the end of this, Jason, by hitting her with the title. So it looks like we may have something going on there with Stat and Persephone.
Yeah, I mean, and that's great, but I mean, Persephone was right there. Like, she was right there. Right there. And they put it on Sheeta, and I'm like, that was the wrong move.
Yeah.
That was the wrong move to make. I'm sorry.
I got a little. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I don't know how heavy-handed Kenny Omega is in booking the women's division. I don't know how true that rumor was that he has some sort of say in what happens with the women's division. But do you remember who the women's champion was last time Kenny Omega was the world champion?
Hikaru Shida.
Now she's the TBS champion. I don't want to say that we're getting a title change tomorrow, but
I think you're okay. Well, I think now you're getting into conspiracy theory. Take the tinfoil hat.
Listen, man, I got to call it out. I don't know. We'll see. Should be a good show tomorrow. These theme shows haven't really lived up to being a theme show. Last time AEW had a theme show, they were on a golf course. So we're looking at Beach Break tomorrow on the beach.
I'm just happy we're getting Beach Break and it's not January in like Chicago or something, which is what they've done with this Beach Break. I never understood that. Why are you doing Beach Break in January?
You mean Beach Break doesn't have a good setting in Cleveland, Ohio? What's going on?
Yeah. When I think Beach Break, I think of fucking Des Moines, Iowa in the middle of January. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? So finally, we have an actual Beach Break during the summer in a beach setting. I like that. Look, when they did the show at the golf, it was like an indoor golf course, but I like that. I think they should do more wacky venues like that, right? I mean, if you're having smaller crowds anyway, then you may as well have fun with it. Like, if you're not going to run the bigger if you're too afraid to run the bigger buildings because you still feel like you can't fill them up, which obviously they can't, or they would be running the bigger buildings, at least have fun with it. And every now and then it's okay to do like a wacky location. I think they've been doing a good job of that. I want to see them do more of that. Well,
we had Pac and Darby fighting in a sand dune on the golf course. Maybe MJF and Kenny Omega can fight in the ocean and maybe go swimming with the sharks. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway,
you got to be careful with that rip current. You just don't want to.
I know.
Actually, did you see we had a shark attack on Jones Beach the other day?
Did we really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Somebody
that.
got bit by a shark at Jones Beach.
I saw a great white was spotted off Rhode Island. Unnatural for them.
I did not. Well, there was a shark sighting. I don't think it was the one at Jones Beach, but there was a shark sighting, like a 9-foot shark. They were like, the people who saw it were like, we knew right away what it was, and I'm like, wow.
Now you know why I don't. Now you know why I don't go anywhere near the water.
I ain't going to the water myself either. So, holy shit.
I'll go on a boat as long as it's safe enough to where it's not going to be attacked by a great white or anything. But
JD will be happy if you put a beer in his hand and put him in the kiddie pool, and he'll be fine. You put a little inflatable thing in the backyard, and that's his style.
Well, I mean, if you watch the original Jaws, the Jaws itself attacked in the lake and then went to the ocean. So I don't think you're safe anywhere. But yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow's Dynamite. It should be good, and they need some good shows because coming out of Forbidden Door has been ice cold. So hopefully they can switch over and heat things up here. Moving on to some WWE talk here. We had Friday Night SmackDown. Not much happened on Friday. It was very much a tape show. The only thing that really happened was the open with Cody and Sami. Always good stuff there with Sami and the interactions with Cody. Cody won a number one contenders match against Jey Uso. This was all taped on Monday because they did a double taping in Atlantic City. So it was taped for Friday. The match with Jey Uso was just really simplistic, formulaic garbage. I mean, if you've seen one Jey Uso match, you've seen them all. I stated that he's one of the worst big match wrestlers in the business. Everything just feels the same. And he had two stinkers with Punk and Cody. That's all you need to really say about Jey Uso. But
JD's going to pick on Jey Uso this week of all weeks. Man. Just pile on the board.
What happened with Jey Uso this week? Did something happen with him?
You want to know? You can go to TMZ and read all the slop over there if you want to
know. Or his Instagram stories because he doesn't want to shut up about it.
Yeah, well, that wasn't too bright, I will say. I don't know why he's shooting his mouth off like that. All that's going to do is just invite even more comments and more scrutiny, but I didn't get into it on my end because it's just... It's nothing. It doesn't even matter. It's not even... Yeah, I mean, it's not news that affects anything or anybody, but I would imagine that's why we didn't see him on Raw last night.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he lands back on his feet. That's just a terrible situation. But listen, people make life choices, and they have to live with the decisions that they make. So
there are consequences.
Yes. I want to start with this. We'll obviously get to the Punk and Sami and Cody and Gunther stuff, Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce. Let's start here with the Vision. Let's start off simple. I know there was a tag team title match last night with the Street Profits and the Vision, Austin Theory, Bron Breakker. We talked a little bit before about Bron Breakker being this tag team specialist and how he's just kind of fallen from the upper elite to kind of a very lower mid card here with Austin Theory and the rest of the Vision. They ended up winning the tag team titles last night. I thoroughly enjoyed the closing sequence of the match. I thought it was very well done with the double brass knuckle spot and then Maxine Dupree coming in and giving a low blow to Angelo Dawkins. Looked like she got a little bit too much of the low blow on that one. So that was the way that...
I mean, it's not like Heyman at WrestleMania 41 where he gave Roman Reigns a cavity surge.
So that happened there. And we have new tag team champions. Maxine jumped into Austin Theory's arms. This made the internet very angry because of whatever reason. They mentioned Maxine having a fiance or a husband in NXT, whatever the case may be. I don't know.
Wait. Hold on a second. So I thought you were implying they were upset because they don't want Maxine Dupree in the Vision. So you're saying people were upset that she was making out with somebody who wasn't? Oh,
yes.
It's a television show.
Yes. I said this.
Do people not understand this?
Well, what happened? Nobody had an outrage when Dominic and Liv Morgan did that at SummerSlam 2 years ago, though.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm sure some people did. But,
yeah, well.
I mean,
yes.
Now look, to be fair, there are lots of examples in wrestling where this sort of thing happens and then one thing leads to another and then real feelings develop. That has happened before.
Well, he said it. I didn't. So
actually, I think was it Randy Savage? I think it might have been Randy Savage who made the comment because Lance Storm talked about this once. And I think he was giving advice to someone who maybe it was Lance about not bringing his wife to the show, like to be on like part of the show.
Yeah.
And it was something to the effect of like, I used to, have my wife with me or whatever. I used to bring my wife with me and now I don't have my wife no more or something like that. And there is some truth to that because if you can find examples of that over the years in wrestling, but at the end of the day, it's a television show. Like what I feel like if people didn't have something to get irrationally upset about, they wouldn't know what to do with themselves. I didn't know this was a thing, that this is what people were so.
Yeah, they were
bent out of
claiming
shape
that this
about.
was, I mean, I guess they were kind of pointing a finger at Triple H, saying this was a very Vince McMahon thing to do and a very old guard thing to do. I'm like,
To do what though? What did he? What? They took two
to book a
characters-
married woman and a single dude and have them be an on-screen item making out together. That's what the whole outrage was. But like you said, it's a TV show, and they are pro wrestlers, yes. But at the end of the day, they're also actors. They're also actors, so they're acting out a role.
It's a work, bro. It's a work.
Yes, it's a
I'll tell you what Vince McMahon told the Ultimate Warrior that time when Warrior he was mean to a kid at the airport once. This was on the A&E special about the Warrior, and he was just a dick to this kid, I guess. And it turned out that the kid's father was someone very important, like one of the sponsors of the company or something like that. So they had to make good, and so they had Warrior record a video apology to the kid. And on the A&E special, they actually had the footage of him over and over. He's trying to he's stopping, fuck, he kept fucking it up. And then because he's in between matches at one of these marathon TV tapings, is all sweaty and everything. He just wants to get this over with. And you hear Vince trying to talk him off the ledge, off camera, going, "It's a work. We're working here. It's a work, Jim.
It's a work. It's
Just
a work."
pretend that you're sorry. You don't have to mean it. We're just working here.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, this was all a work, chat. So no reason to get bent out of shape over a little smooches on Monday Night Raw. Anyway, Profits, they lost the belts, and now the Vision are tag team champions. Before this match, Paul Heyman scolded Braun Breaker for failing to beat Rollins at Night of Champions, and he was more disappointed in Austin Theory because he couldn't even beat Joe Hendry last week, kind of burying Joe Hendry in the process, making him look like a jobber, but I guess he is.
Oh, I think they've done a better job of that just by not giving him a fucking proper entrance on this show since he debuted.
Bring back something worthy of your wise man. So he did, and then he ended up being more pleased with the job that Maxine Dupree did than Austin Theory. So this apparently is now a test. He's going to be testing the Vision to I guess, get back in his good graces. I don't really know, Jason, why the company is continuing to hang on to the Vision. And unlike you, and I know we both want Breaker to break away from this. And I know WrestleVotes reported that Breaker and Heyman will probably still be a pair, even post-Vision, if they end up breaking the group up, which I think is a great move. Leaving Theory and Bronson Reed and Logan Paul to do whatever they need to do. The company's priority here should not be the Vision. I think Braun Breaker looks ridiculous being in a tag team with Austin Theory. I think he looks ridiculous just hanging around these guys that he's clearly more superior than outside Logan Paul. Logan Paul's the biggest star in the group, but I mean, Breaker is himself, like you said before, wrestled Punk for the WWE Championship. That injury really derailed him, and he had no natural progression outside of Seth Rollins coming back from the injury, and they feuded for 3 months, which Rollins eventually won, and he's just finding himself in this limbo. He needs to go and break away from the group. I'd love to see him be a babyface. His offense is very babyface-esque, and I think you mentioned it. I don't know where you mentioned it, but I think I heard you mention Bronson Reed's probably coming back imminently. Bronson Reed's going to be a destroyer. Have him join the rest of the Vision guys. Breaker, Reed. That could be a very good feud to start him out with and kind of get him going off on his own with Paul Heyman. I don't know what the idea is to keep the group together. What do you make of them still hanging on to the Vision?
I don't like it. I feel like it's actually more of a detriment to Breaker at this point, honestly. I don't really see where the benefit is in it for him, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to push the other guys. You know, Logan Paul is very good in the role they have him in. Theory, you know, they're trying to get something going with him. Now he's got Maxine, and so they'll be the new it couple, I guess, on Raw. But just this group was cursed from the beginning. The purpose of this group, I think, in the first place, it's kind of played itself out already. And they tend to go with these groups for so long. Look, the Judgment Day is still going. Why? Why is the Judgment Day? The Judgment Day is basically a female faction at this point, but why is this group still together at this point? I can't get a good answer. Right? There's no real good reason why those two groups should still be a thing on Monday Night Raw. I'm sorry. I think the Vision has outlasted its usefulness. And the fact they put the tag team titles on these two guys indicates that they're going to go the other way with it. And they're in it for the long haul. And so this is the way it's going to be. We have the first female member now of the Vision, which I'll be honest with you, like in terms of Maxine, this really is the best role for her.
Yes.
I would much rather see her in a role like this than trying to make something happen with her in the ring, because we're living in an era of WWE today where she's just not going to be able to, I think, go out there and get the kind of reps that someone like her probably needs to really up her game, you know, with the lack of live events and stuff. Like where is she going to be working that she's going to be constantly improving in the ring? I feel like she doesn't really have that opportunity. So why try to make that a thing? This might be a better way to go with her, right? I think we can agree on that.
Yeah.
So I don't mind that, but like, what is the point of this group? Like at this point, is this group even necessary on this show?
No.
It's not. It's not. And all it's doing, Bron Breakker is the one out of everybody in that group who you would look at, or at least 6 months ago, maybe people would look at and go, hey, this guy could be a WrestleMania headliner. This guy's going to be a future multi-time world champion. And he probably still will be, but this is not doing him any good. It's dragging him down.
Why is the company so incapable of booking two top young guys at the same time? Like, obviously, Oba Femi has stifled some of Bron Breakker's momentum, because now everybody's all on Oba, and Bron's kind of like looked at as like the wallflower. He's like just standing in the corner, and people notice him, but they're not really paying him much attention. Why is the company so incapable of booking two top guys at the same time? You would think that they would want as many top guys coming along at the same time, so that when they get to that point, Monday Night Raw is stronger with both of them on the top instead of one leg and behind.
Well, maybe part of the problem is having them on the same show.
Yeah.
Maybe they shouldn't be on the same brand.
Yeah.
See, that might be something that benefits Bron Breakker. It's not just getting out of this group, but getting him off of Monday Night Raw and away from Oba Femi. And then one day, when they've both been built up to a point where it's like people really want to see that match, then you can do that match one day and you've kept them apart. So Oba's the guy, as far as like the young guys, quote unquote, or the new faces, like on Raw, he's that guy. And there's not going to be anybody else on this show, not Jacob Fatu, not Bron Breakker, not anybody else who's, you know, going to usurp him. So why not shift him over to SmackDown? It's not like SmackDown couldn't use the help right now.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
That is one of the reasons why I'm so happy Punk is on SmackDown, because they could desperately use someone like him on that show.
Yeah, I don't know. I said that same thing 2 weeks ago. I don't know why they're on the same brand. It's like you got one fucking meddling in the mid card, and you got the other guy wrestling Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam in Hell in a Cell. And Bron Breakker right now has no clear direction into SummerSlam. That is inexcusable, in my opinion, anyway. So that's the tag team championship situation. That's the Vision situation. We don't know when Bronson Reed's coming back. Hopefully very soon. He looks in tremendous shape, and his absence also is sorely needed. We had a women's IC title match. Sol Ruca had a very good showing against Raquel Rodriguez. Io Sky came out and played difference maker here with Sol Ruca pinning Rodriguez, and what I thought was a very cool ending as well. Rodriguez, like a dummy, was kind of, her attention was on what happened with Io on the outside as she did an acai moonsault to both Roxanne and Liv Morgan, and then she's looking over the rope, and then all of a sudden Sol Ruca nails her with the Soul Snatcher. So 10 minutes there, Sol Ruca retained the IC title. What she's doing at SummerSlam, I don't know. Where Becky Lynch is, everybody figured Becky would still be kind of factored into somewhere in the women's division. It looks like she's taken the month of July off. So we'll see what happens with Sol. But as far as the men's IC title, they laid out what's happening with that going into SummerSlam. We have a 7-man gauntlet match next week.
Yes.
And there is absolutely no one in this match but Chad Gable who should be the declared winner.
They have one job next week. This is all they have to do. They have one job, which is very simple, and it is to send Chad Gable to Minneapolis to wrestle Penta for the Intercontinental Championship.
You know, just because you said that, Ethan Page is going to win the gauntlet match next week.
Oh, my God. Well, we know it's not going to be Rusev because they pushed him. Boy, did they push him last night. He got pushed as a monster in a way that we haven't seen since he came back to the company. He actually won a match.
I know.
That might have been the biggest. That might have been more of a surprise than CM Punk coming back and winning the title last night.
Well, like you said, he's not winning. He's not winning it now because of what happened last night.
Right, but the whole point was like, let's make him into a monster. He'll put everybody in the accolade. He'll win the match. He'll stand tall. And I don't know where in the gauntlet he'll fall next week. Somewhere in the middle, maybe. And like maybe he'll be the last one. And if Gable goes to the very end, he'll have to overcome Rusev. And then he'll be. So for 1 week, we'll have to pretend like the only thing we've seen of Rusev is what we saw last night. And we'll have to forget the last like 9 months of him just doing jobs every week. So that's why they did what they did. But we have Chad Gable, we have Dragon Lee, we have Javon Evans, Rusev, Ethan Page, and Joe Hendry. Did I miss anybody?
No, that's it.
I think that's 7. There's literally nobody else, right? I saw some people like, oh, Javon and Penta at SummerSlam. And like, I got nothing against Javon. There's only one answer to this. Send Chad Gable to Minneapolis. That's it. The only question is, would you have Gable enter the gauntlet at number 1, or would you have him enter maybe at like 2 or 3?
I said last night, word for word, give him the Kofi treatment when Kofi won his gauntlet and then won the title at WrestleMania. Just do it.
But did Kofi enter at number 1?
Yes, he lasted 50 minutes plus. Yes.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Maybe they want to have him at number 2 or something. I mean, that's fine. That's fine. Also, point is, you got to have Gable, come from the very beginning and just persevere and just find a way to pull it out, in the end, and just send him on his way. And what a match that'll be, right? Penta and Chad Gable. Funny enough, that was Penta's first match when he debuted on Raw, was against Chad Gable.
Yeah, that's a full circle moment. Like we both said, there's literally nothing else that Triple H needs to do. This is the easiest creative for him in Minneapolis. That's it.
He does it. He could do it blindfolded. Like, this is the easiest layup that you could possibly ask for.
So that's that. That's next week. Gauntlet matches are fine. I like the way Tony Khan does the gauntlet matches because they're a little bit more unpredictable. It's like a mix of the Royal Rumble and a gauntlet match kind of mixed into one. The WWE gauntlet matches usually is the same format. It's very boring. Hopefully they make it exciting next week, but Gable needs to win. I do want to talk about this. I don't know why I skipped over this because it's staring me right in the face. We'll go back to just one thing on the vision here. There was a news article about Bron Breakker. And apparently, Netflix edited Bron Breakker's cage match spot with Seth Rollins at Night of Champions, where he got busted open. And you saw that great visual of Breakker just looking angry, and he's got blood pouring from his face. And it happened, I believe, off the superplex spot that went through the table, and a table shard kind of cut him up. So watching that live, I'm like, all right, this is when the match is picking up. It's a great spot. Breakker looked great bloody. Apparently, according to Mike Johnson, the edits that were made on Netflix were not by Netflix, but by WWE. Now, apparently, Jason, when people went back to watch, when fans went back to watch, Breakker's face was blurred out. He was nothing more than like I'm editing a thumbnail and I'm putting a blur effect over the thumbnail.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, it's kind of like that story all those years ago about Vince. Vince always thought Christian was ugly, and he floated the idea of putting a blue dot on his face every time he was on TV. It became the blue dot story. But like in this case, they literally blurred out. They didn't just blur out like the blood on his face because it was half his face. They just put a blur over his entire face. He looks like some sort of entity or like demon or something. And that's just like, it's the laziest way of editing this.
Like it's some fucking TMZ footage and they don't want to show the other parties involved, so they blur his face out.
Well, you remember years ago when Flair came in and he had the big gold belt, and then Jack Tunney, he would put like he would digitally distort the belt. I'm surprised they didn't do that. And like they would have to try to follow his face like everywhere he went. He was trying to avoid the blur. But I saw this and I was like, this is a Netflix thing. This is not a WWE thing, because apparently on ESPN, it's not like that. So it doesn't make it. It's not like WWE decided, oh, we got to edit out the blood, because if they did, they would have done it on ESPN. This is just Netflix. And for the life of me, there may well be a reason for it. I'm coming up at a loss to try to figure out on Netflix, of all places, why this would be such a big problem that they would have to go in there and do that. I don't really understand that.
Yeah, I don't understand this either. I look at this and I'm like, you pay for Netflix to watch the WWE product because most of the pay-per-views are on there now, and you're paying to watch this stuff, yet they're digitally enhancing it or altering it, and you're not paying for what you're actually paying for.
Well, not only that, they didn't just blur his face. I mean, but they edited out the holy shit chants in favor of "this is awesome." So they pipe in "This is awesome" chants over what were the chants of "Holy shit."
Oh my god!
Like what
the fuck is wrong with it?
Does the show have like a? Does the show on Netflix have like? I mean, I guess they don't have TV ratings on there, but like it's almost like the show is TVY7 or something on Netflix. I don't really.
Yeah, no, but you can go watch a 4-part documentary on O.J. Simpson and the O.J. Simpson murders, but Braun Breaker bleeding in a steel cage match is where they draw the line.
Well, I love how like that's the first thing you thought of. This far worse on Netflix than
I don't watch that type of stuff on Netflix. What's worse? I don't know.
I mean, they have all kinds of stuff on Netflix that would be very disturbing if people were to watch it, and all kinds of violence and gore and dark shows. Why is this where they draw the line?
I would be curious. What was that Jake Paul MMA promotion? Did they go back and alter that on there too?
Promotions.
Yeah.
No, I can't imagine. They put a blur over Ronda Rousey's face as she's. No, I can't imagine that's the case.
That's ridiculous.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't understand. Like, why do they feel compelled to go ahead and do that?
I don't know.
The reason for it?
I don't know. The report says the most likely explanation is content standards. Netflix streams WWE programming worldwide, and different countries apply different rules and ratings to blood and violence. So sanitized replays would help the content comply across every market. WWE has done similar with older footage and chair shots to the head. So none of this is new. Sure.
I just don't like how these rules apply. Like, there's no universal like rule here. Like, yes, they've edited chair shots before for many, many years, but if you watch the stuff they've been putting out on YouTube on the Vault, like the chair shots are there. They're not edited there. Like, or at least now they're not. Maybe in the past they were, but they're not. So it's just not applied evenly. It just doesn't make any sense to me. That's the thing that gets me. I just don't. Yeah, somebody mentioned the Diddy documentary, I think, is on Netflix.
There you go.
I believe it is.
Completely a different end of the spectrum compared to O.J. Simpson, but still violent in the same sense.
Yes, very, very much so.
Ridiculous. You should pay for what you pay for and get what you're paying for. So I don't know. This is like Sony, doing the whole digital thing in 2028 and taking people's physical media away from them. It's fucking garbage. I don't know what's happening in today's world, but it's not good. It's not fun. So continuing with Raw here, IC title will be determined for SummerSlam next week in the Gauntlet match. We also have Roxanne versus EO. Roman will appear on the show. He's showing up to work next week. Thank you, Roman.
He returned, JB. I always love that. Roman Reigns return. Every 2 weeks, there's a new return from Roman.
And Brock Lesnar will appear next week, so he's also coming to work in Dallas, of all places. Dallas in July. It sounds fantastic.
I thought it was Houston.
I thought it was Dallas, no?
I thought it was Houston. Let's find out. I don't want to offend our friends in Dallas. July 14th.
Sorry,
WWE Raw, 7/14/26.
Jason looks that up. I thought it was. I have Houston, Dallas in my notes.
I thought it was Houston. Here we go. WWE Raw on July 13th in Dallas, Texas.
There you go.
American Airlines Center. Maybe I'm almost positive that Michael Cole said Houston.
I'm sure he's been fucking up every now and then. A little bit more lately.
He's been pretty bad lately.
Yeah. Rollins, speaking of fucking up here, this was a very boring promo by Seth Rollins. I felt like I was going to fall asleep on the couch last night watching this promo.
I heard the crickets in the background.
Bro, audible boos when Seth Rollins was going on about Roman Reigns and how he's worked less and made more money than him.
Dude, I'll tell you how bad this was. Rollins was really what?
I got a Tommy Dreamer quote here, bro. I gotta tell you after you finish what he said about this Rollins promo.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say, like, Rollins was only like the third or fourth most over person in this entire segment because the fans were immediately showering him in chants of CM Punk, and he shot that down and said it was not about that guy. Talking about Roman Reigns. And so then they started chanting for Roman, and they chanted OTC. And then when LA Knight came out, they were chanting for LA Knight and booing Rollins. So in his own segment, at best, he was maybe the third most, probably fourth most over person. And he's the one going to SummerSlam to wrestle for the championship. It's not good.
No, it's not. It's not. This was one of the most, and I said last week, Rollins is one of the best big match promos in WWE because of what he did the week prior with Roman. Tremendous promo with Roman. And this week he just shit the bed and Thankfully, LA Knight came out to save us from falling asleep in Chicago.
But see, this is also, but just to cut you off, but like, this is also partially the problem when the person that you're supposed to be playing off of is not there.
Yeah.
When they're not there, you're just out there by yourself, looking in the camera, cutting a promo. And so what's he going to say? What's he going to say that we haven't already heard him say? These men have been off and on friends and foes for almost 15 years. So obviously there's a lot of history there, but we've been seeing it and we've been hearing about it for 14 years now. And last week he laid it out pretty well. Like he hit all the key points, right? I never did get the belt back that I never lost. You and I and the Shield, and I've been following you for all these years, and the Shield breaking up, everything. Right? He laid it all out. So then he comes back out this week, and it's like, what are you possibly going to tell us that we did not already hear from you last week? And Roman isn't even here this time to respond and to play off of. And so that doesn't help when he's just standing out there by himself and doesn't have anything interesting to say. This is what you end up with.
Well, let me read to you what he said here, because this kind of
must we?
I'm not going to read all of it. I got a little excerpt. Yes.
Okay. All right. Fine.
Because I feel like my intelligence was insulted. Maybe you can chime in here. He said that obviously he's talking about his dreams, and to watch those dreams be handed off to somebody else, that broke something in me. And every decision that I made after that was in direct response to watching my dreams be handed off to Roman, that I feel he didn't deserve it. When I broke up the Shield, it was trying to catch up to Roman Reigns. When I cashed in at WrestleMania in the main event to take Roman's main event, that was so I could stay close to Roman. And I know that sounds petty, and it was, but I truly believe in my heart that if I put in the work, if I sacrificed, if I worked hard, and I believed in myself, I could still achieve those dreams. So then he went on to claim that Roman worked less, made more money, and has taken the reduced schedule and basically had everything handed to him. Well, he's had to bust his ass. He's pointing at kids in the crowd, and that used to be me, and all I wanted to do was walk down this aisle and main event WrestleMania and blah, blah, blah. Jason, he basically showed up last week and goaded Roman Reigns into a championship match while Roman stood there and says, whoa, little brother, you don't deserve anything. You haven't done anything to earn a shot at the tribal chief. Meanwhile, he's out here this week claiming that Roman was handed everything to him. Do you know how we would have made sense of all this if Seth Rollins won the King of the Ring so that he could show up this week and last week to Roman? Hey, big brother, I earned it. I won the King of the Ring. Meanwhile, we're going back and forth on who's earned what, who makes more money, and who deserves this and who deserves that. Did you feel like you were insulted a little bit by WWE's writing here, or am I losing my mind?
No, I didn't feel insulted by it. I just thought it was fucking boring. I don't take it personally, because these promos, there are very few people, honestly, that I could think of right now on television who can cut a truly compelling promo. There aren't that many people that can do it.
Well, Rollins can do it. It just wasn't last night.
Well, but he did it last week.
Yeah.
Now you asked him to go out there and do it again. And that was asking a little too much, because there's not that much meat left on the bone for him to go. Like, that's what I said before. Like, what is he going to go out there and say? What he was trying to do here was like cut a real white meat babyface promo and get the crowd behind him. If you work really hard, right? Everybody can relate to that, right? Everyone, you put the work in, but there's always somebody else who does less work than you, and they get all the glory. Like,
while the hometown hero showed up after 3 months of doing nothing and won the title.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, not only that, but like Roman will show up next week being a dick, and he'll get cheered more than anybody else on the show, and everybody will be like OTC. So like, it doesn't work. It doesn't work in front of these crowds. And so it just kind of fell flat. I don't want to say like I found it like insulting. I just listened to what he had to say, and I said, like, this is just not resonating. And it wasn't resonating with the crowd. They were pretty quiet when they weren't chanting for other people who weren't even there. And so, yes, he's going through all of this. He's making all of these points. Oh, that kid used to be me and all this stuff. And then LA Knight comes out. And
he cut the best promo of his WWE career last night. Yeah,
he did. And he was lighting up Seth, and Seth is just standing there listening to it and taking all of it, taking it all, probably thinking to himself, man, this is better than the shit that I was talking about, 2 minutes ago.
Let's fire that fucking writer that sat down with me 3 hours ago.
Yeah, well, we'll take care of this for next time. We'll make sure this doesn't happen again. And I'm listening to LA Knight, and it's sad because I would love to tell you that I'm listening to him and I'm like, oh man, like this is a great promo, and he's making very valid points, and maybe this is gonna really like lead somewhere. But dude, like I think you and I are kind of at a point where, like, do you honestly believe that this is gonna lead to anything substantial for LA Knight?
No.
Is this going anywhere in terms of like, oh, this was a turning point for LA Knight?
No, he's gonna find himself in a 6-man tag at SummerSlam with fucking Solo Sikoa and Royce Keys.
And he may well take the losing fall of that match for all we know. So yes, that's where this man is headed, and it's sad because he is one of the few people that are on that roster. And look, sometimes he'll get flustered and he'll stumble over his words. It's kind of like a regular thing that happens, but still, he goes out there. And he can cut these entertaining promos, and he still has the crowd with him even after all these years. And I'm like, man, if they could just put the whole thing together and actually give him some sort of real push or real story to just do anything with him. The crowd is like, they're there. They want to have a reason to like really rally behind this guy, and he knows how to cut a promo. But when it was over, I was like, okay, it's a great promo, but we're going to still be talking about LA Knight in the same situation he's in when we're having this conversation in 6 months. And then when Rollins responded to him at the end of all of it, he was like, are you done? And basically, after I win the title, you'll be the first one I put in the dirt. And the sad thing is, I mean, Rollins is not winning the title, I don't think, but even if he did, LA Knight probably would be the first person that they matched him up with and the first person that he would put in the dirt.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad.
Yeah, LA Knight, he's got an energy to him that a lot of people don't really possess. And everything that he says, you can physically see the frustration as he says it. Even though it's all in line with what the story is, he genuinely feels what he's talking about. And I can absolutely see that. He's frustrated. And that comes off in his promo.
But that's why it works so well.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's not reading words off a page. No. Like, you can believe that there's a lot of real feeling and real emotion behind the words that he's saying.
So he will probably end up in that 6-man tag that we pitched. Royce Keys solo against Jimmy J and Jacob Fatu at SummerSlam. That's the only thing that makes sense. And I know there was a rumor that Royce Keys was once planned to wrestle Gunther at SummerSlam. I don't know where the fuck they got that. They haven't had anything to do with each other. Yeah, so that's not happening. But that's LA Knight and Seth Rollins as Rollins. And Reigns will have a World Championship match at SummerSlam. And that was basically everything on Monday night, as we will talk about the biggest thing that I could say happened on Monday night all year. And this was CM Punk coming back and winning the WWE Championship, which we don't see all that often, even defended, never mind someone winning it. So the way that they set this up, let's start from the top. Cody wins a match on SmackDown against Jey Uso. He's earned the #1 contendership. Not exciting. We all knew Cody was eventually going to end up winning. So he shows up on Monday, and instead of starting the show on Monday with the obligatory way that WWE does these shows, everybody's got to be filmed walking into the arena, and they got that terrible theme playing.
With their empty coffee cups.
Yes, with their empty coffee cups, and everybody's like fucking fake smiling and pretending the camera's not standing there.
It's all, dude, it is so awful.
I hate it.
Can we please stop with this shit? Like, they've been doing this now for a while, and every single week it's the same, like, cold open. We show them holding their stupid cups and they're smiling. It is awful. Like, you want to set the vibe when the show starts, right? Don't you want to set the vibe? Don't you want to like get people's blood pumping? Like, oh man, Raw's about to begin. What's going to happen tonight?
Yeah.
And like, I don't know why they abandoned that. I don't know why they're still doing this.
This was cool for the first 4 weeks, and then it got really old.
It was different. Like, at first it was different. And then, as with everything, like when they just constantly do it every single week, it's like, okay, can we not do this anymore and just kind of go back to what you were doing before? Wouldn't that be nice?
Just give me a fucking a mixture of video packages and a theme music with some fireworks. That's all I want.
Yeah, but you get the right song, and you put together a really cool video intro that showcases all the stars on the show that you want to show. And then when it's over, you cut to the arena, and they look, we had pyro at the end of the show last night. It's not like they've cut their pyro budget. You open the show, you got fucking fireworks going off. You know what the problem is, though? The problem is, like, we're thinking back to a time when they were doing that, And after the fireworks were done, they would pan to the crowd. And you had people like jumping up and down, going nuts, making all this noise, holding up signs. And you don't have that anymore. Like, if you cut to the crowd, like, what's the crowd going to look like? Are they going to be like going crazy, or are they going to be just like, you know?
Out of 11,000 people back in the day, I would say 10,997 of them had signs up.
Yeah.
Now it's maybe 40. So
yeah. But you just want them to make noise. Like, if you could at least trust that the crowd was going to be very animated, like, you cut to the crowd, you show everybody is ready for Monday Night Raw to begin. And then you go into whatever you're going to go into. And that's like a hot open to the show. There's a certain vibe and a certain energy to the show that can be improved upon by just not doing the same lazy opening they do every week. I did get a kick out of Sami pulling up in his convertible, though.
Or that, or they show the lame B-roll of some put whichever city that they're showing up next weekend.
Oh yeah. Well, that
with the aerial drone shot of like fucking Miami. Like,
well, remember what they did when they had that aerial drone shot when they started when Kevin Dunn went away and the current guy Lee Fitting.
Yeah.
So when they had that changeover in the production team, remember they had those drone shots where the drone would start outside,
yes,
and then it would zip through like up the stairs through the like that was cool, right?
That's too much of the budget, man. We got to cut.
I guess so. Like they don't do that anymore. That was actually very cool.
Yeah, that was cool. But yeah, I agree. That the way that they start these shows is just nauseating. But not last night. They actually did something a little different. Sami arrived at the Allstate Arena last night in his rental car, gets out of his car, and he's immediately met by Cody Rhodes. For what reason? I don't know. Cody wanted to wish him luck in the match later in the main event. I don't know what Cody wants to do or what's to say with his Sami Zayn.
So disingenuous.
It's just ridiculous.
Okay, I did want to bring up one point from SmackDown, actually. When Cody came out to confront Sami, and he basically shook his hand, right? He wanted to congratulate him on winning the title.
Yeah.
And he went to go leave, and Sami's like, whoa. Like, where are you going? Right? And then so they continued the segment. Jey Uso came out. In the middle of all of that, Cody, he admitted, like, because Jey had interrupted, he goes, I'm out here for my rematch. And I'm like,
you didn't mention that 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, no, you were going to leave because you just wanted to come out and be the bigger man and congratulate him. He's full of shit. Like, Cody is completely full of shit. One day when they have the guts to do it, and they have somebody ready to take his spot as QB1, that Cody heel turn will hit like crack, because he can do like the disingenuous, like, you know, oh, I care about you and I care about the fans, right? Oh. Like, he's going to get so much heat for it when he plays it up like as a heel. I don't think they have the balls to actually.
Bro, they got someone now. He's on the same show now.
Do they?
Yeah. He won the title last night from Sami Zayn.
No, but he doesn't play the disingenuous role quite like Cody does, though.
No, he doesn't. But
Cody comes out there dressed up as a friggin' corporate politician.
I
That's not Punk.
Well, yeah, no, it's not Punk. We'll get into that. I had a lot to say about that too last night. But he meets Cody. Sami does in the parking lot area at the beginning of the show. Sami tells Cody that is not going to happen because Cody said he's going to swoop in and take the championship back. Cody was just there to say good luck in the match. I'll see you in the ring. Sami said everything that's on Cody's mind, and it's Cody's turn to speak. As far as Sami's prediction for tonight's main event, he's completely right. All of a sudden, we see Gunther legitimately come out of nowhere. Big forearm to Cody. He power bombs him through a table that's just sitting in the backstage area. And Gunther then gets in Sami's face and says he should thank him because Cody is no longer a problem. Gunther thinks that Sami's a fluke and is a disgrace that he's holding the WWE Championship. Now, at this point, Gunther says he's coming for Sami and the WWE title. At this point, Jason, Cody somehow, he left the table rubble and he's all of a sudden crawling over to the car.
Was he going to drive away? Like, what was he gonna...
I don't know what he was, like he wanted to fucking speed out of there.
He was going to steal Sami Zayn's car and he was going to drive away.
Like, what is he doing by the car door? Gunther sees him trying to get up on his 2 feet by using the car door. Gunther slams the car door in his face. And we get this great visual of Cody just bleeding from the left side of his ear. And you get just a small stream of blood flowing down his cheek. And at that point, you kind of knew, like, all right, this guy ain't going to be medically clear for this match. And I think we all seen where it was going from that point on. So that's the way they started the show. So we go on throughout the show, and this is threaded throughout the entire show.
Just the idea. He was trying to escape.
I guess. Well,
QB1.
Sami sly. He's not a coward, but he's like, Cody's hurt. Oh, okay. Do I still have to defend my title? He's like,
which is a valid point, by the way, because as he pointed out, like later in the show, he goes, I don't even know why I was supposed to defend my title on Raw to begin with, because he's the champion from SmackDown.
Yes. So Cody at that point is getting checked out in the trainer's room. Adam Pearce appears, and the doc says, I can't clear him to compete. So Cody says, I'm fine. I want to wrestle. Pearce says, I can't override his decision. My hands are tied. So that is, again, where we just kind of lean into, we know who's coming out in the end. So we go from there, and we get Adam Pearce trying to find a replacement. He tells Sami that he will defend the championship. There will be a main event in Chicago. The fans are going to get a WWE Championship match, and I'm going to find a replacement. So at that point, Jason, we get Nick Aldis, who is on the show, and he got into a little spat with Gunther. They kicked Gunther out of the building for what he did to Cody. Gunther is continuing to tell Nick Aldis that he's a failed wrestler, and now he's a failed GM. So he's used the term failed and wrestler on multiple occasions to Nick Aldis. I think we see where that's possibly going into SummerSlam. We'll touch upon that in a second. But Nick Aldis, who is still, by the way, on administrative leave, he's in the building, and he's making general manager decisions. He sees Adam Pearce on the phone. He looks over at him, and he's like, okay. And he's like, I'm going to do something that you haven't been capable of doing here, and I found someone in the main event to wrestle Sami Zayn, and that person is in the building today. So we all knew who that was going to be because the fans in Chicago were chanting CM Punk. And then we get the entrance of Punk. The garage door opens up where Sami drove his rental car in before in the beginning of the show, and Punk is just standing there in his ring gear, and he's looking all buff, and he's looking just like we saw in the pictures. It's real. He's got.
I mean, look, he's not Bruce Banner, but yes, he's in good shape. Let's put it this way: he hasn't been spending the last 2 months sitting on the couch eating ice cream in Chicago.
No, he's not. No
Mindy's.
No, or Mindy's. No, and Mindy's is very good. So he shows up. I loved the entrance of Punk because they didn't initially open the door and hit his theme music. They let him walk through the backstage area, walk through Gorilla. He walked by Michael Hayes, and then they hit the music when he hit the stage. Very good entrance. It reminded me, the whole thing kind of reminded me of when they brought him back on Rampage after 7 years, 8 years. And it was like they wanted to keep it mysterious, and they wanted to keep it kind of secretive, but we all knew who exactly it was because of where they were. So I'll stop there, Jason, because there are a couple of rumors here, or a couple of pieces of news. I'll start with the Nick Aldis situation. Nick Aldis, is he returning to the ring? This is coming from WrestleVotes, and this is via Fightful Select. A source with WrestleVotes shared the idea of Aldis returning to the ring has been floated around on multiple occasions, one of those being in 2025, where there was a proposed program with Solo Sikoa that gained traction internally. I don't know who would want to see that or who pitched that, but thank God.
Where would that have happened?
I don't know, but thank God that did not happen. WrestleVotes added that the concept of Gunther Aldis has been discussed before, but not in the context that is currently unfolding. If there is a match between the two, the expectation is that it will be Gunther facing Aldis and not Aldis selecting someone to fight for him. He hasn't wrestled since 2023, and he's a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion as well as a TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Do you think that this is exactly where they're going for SummerSlam, and it's going to be Aldis and Gunther one-on-one, or after what we saw tonight, which to me personally, it doesn't make any sense why they would reward Gunther with a championship opportunity after what he did last night, you insert him into some multi-man affair at SummerSlam with Punk, Sami, and Cody?
Yeah, I've seen some people float that idea, I think even in the chat earlier. And again, like, how do you make sense of that?
You don't.
Like, this man was sent home, and even though he was sent home, he showed up last night and caused all kinds of chaos that led to you not being able to, provide people with the match that you advertise in the main event. So, you know what we're going to do? We're going to give you a chance to fight for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam. Boy, would that be fucking stupid.
Well, with this company, it probably would make a lot of sense for them to do that. It
probably would. You're probably right about that. So maybe we're applying too much logic, but no, I don't see that being the case. I don't see that being the case. They're leaning too heavily into this idea of of him and Aldis being at each other's throats. Aldis was sent home on administrative leave. Why would they do that, right? Why would they send him home on administrative leave and basically temporarily strip him of his general manager power?
Yeah.
Because that's the only way to make sense of him being in a wrestling match. Like, it feels like we're closer now than we've ever been since he came to the company of him actually getting in the ring and wrestling. And at this point, there's no other match that would really make sense anyway than to do him and Gunther.
Well, what do you make sense of, or how would this make sense? If we saw what happened last night, Aldis made Pearce look bad at his job by finding CM Punk because Adam Pearce couldn't find anybody, which I find hard to believe. But Nick Aldis is not in a general manager position. He's still on administrative leave. He's got no power. Nick Aldis is not running SmackDown, and Adam Pearce is running both shows. Do you think because Aldis made Pearce look bad, that Adam Pearce is going to be the one to book Gunther and Nick Aldis as some sort of revenge tactic against Nick Aldis for making him look bad, and that's going to be the match at SummerSlam, and Adam Pearce is going to be the one behind that? Is that a possibility?
Sure. Yeah, of course. I mean, he would have to be the one to make the match anyway if he's the only one with power right now.
Yeah.
Technically, he's going to have to make the match regardless of whether Aldis wants it or not. I like that idea. I like the idea because it also puts more heat between the two of them. And so eventually, if Aldis is back in his old position, maybe we get some more like interactions back and forth, and it actually makes it feel more like there's a real battle going on, right, between the two brands, or at least the heads of the two brands. I would like that. It would be a change from what they've done, where everyone's always like all friendly and everything, and it's kind of boring. So I'd be fine with that. I think that would be great. And look, if Nick Aldis is going to wrestle at SummerSlam and it's going to be his one and only match, you can't really find a better opponent than Gunther, right? If you're going to get in the ring with somebody, why not get in the ring with him?
And I know we talked about Gunther kind of falling off a little bit here, or in some cases a lot to some people from where he was, and he's not the same guy that he was even last year or 2 years ago. But there's a small part of me that is very interested in what's going on here with Nick Aldis and the fact that he may actually get in the ring with Gunther. And I know Gunther's a lot better off than wrestling the general manager of SmackDown, but I'm kind of interested in the story that they're telling here. It's not a bad story at all that they're telling.
No, I mean, it's not a bad story, but it still feels to me like a waste of, what you did to build this man up 7 months ago compared to where he is now. It's a come down. He doesn't feel the way he felt 7 months ago. And maybe it's foolish to think that this company was going to actually be able to maintain that, for this long. Although Gunther has largely, I think, been protected since he got called up to the main roster.
Yes.
His booking has been a lot better than most, right? I mean, as I sit here and I laugh in LA Night. So he doesn't have too much to complain about, really. But it's like, this is not the match I would have expected him to be in. I really wish, and maybe there's a reason why they can't do it. I keep going back to Dragunov, and it's a real shame if he's not available for like a legitimate reason. Man, that would have been a great SummerSlam match.
I mean, it could still be on the table. We don't know.
Yeah, but not for SummerSlam though.
I would listen, if they want to give me that match with 1 week of build up because Nick Aldis wants to choose somebody to fight for him, even though Russell said that's not going to be the case. I would take that if it's Dragunov. Yeah,
I would take it too. Yeah, I'm just saying I don't think it's actually going to happen though.
No, I don't think it's
realistically. We're getting Gunther and Aldis, but Gunther and Dragunov, even on the undercard with no titles or anything at SummerSlam, it would have been nice for Gunther, as elevated as he was, to kind of help lift Dragunov up a little bit because he's too good to be wasted. We saw that when he was the U.S. champion. And what got him over? His matches.
Yeah.
Bit by bit, right? He was getting over in his matches. And then he just disappeared. And so it's too bad because I felt like he was really building some legitimate momentum, and now it's stalled. And I just hope that when he comes back, they can find something meaningful for him to do. And it's just, come on, man. Like, they're on the same brand. At some point, you got to pull the trigger on that.
Well, hopefully Triple H knows that Dragunov is still employed there and that match should absolutely take place. So I'm with you there. That's one match still, to me, that they have not done on the main roster that I very much want to see. Sami Zayn, I know everybody was really talking about Sami. It was a hot button topic last week. I literally had to debate people in the comments section, and I had an invite with Coach and Bro to debate Sami Zayn on Vince Russo and Jonathan Coachman's podcast, which I felt like I held my own very well. A lot of the old guard, Jason, is comparing ratings back in the day, the 8 and 9 million, to Mick Foley, and that Sami doesn't look like a champion. He looks like somebody that should be bagging on groceries, and he's not a world champion, and yada, yada, yada. So all this stuff was very tiresome. You and me have explained in depth about why all of this is just nonsense. But Sami actually addressed some of these criticisms as well. And he said, and I quote, "Look, if you just don't like me, that's fine. You're certainly allowed not to like me, but I think it's like if you start getting married to an archetype of what you've been taught, like this is what you should want, and then that's all you buy, without insulting anybody here. I just think that's kind of a lack of free thought." He went on to encourage more closed-minded fans to expand their expectations about what a champion can be, comparing a rigid view of the title to never leaving one's hometown. You're allowed to want other products or enjoy other products. It shouldn't be one thing that has been sold to you or you should come to accept that is the only way anything needs to be done. I would equate that with almost like saying in your hometown your whole life and never going to New York City and never realizing that there's a whole planet out there. There's billions of ways to do things. I hated the argument that people said Sami was not a WWE champion or he didn't deserve to be a WWE champion, as if these people have any right to say that, what someone should deserve or what they don't deserve. He's fucking earned it for 13 years. As far as I'm concerned, he wrestles like a world champion, and he should be given a fair shot with the WWE Championship. And something that I don't think we discussed last week on TNT that I was thinking about, what does it do for all the other people that are the same size and are similar to Sami Zayn and guys like Bryan Danielson and CM Punk back in the day and Kofi Kingston, all these guys that you mentioned last week in your very good rant? What does it mean to those people to see someone like Sami Zayn win the title, and they could aspire to be that as well and give them some glimmer of hope that it could happen to them as well? So it works in all different ways, and people just kind of stuck with he's not drawing a dime and he's not making anybody money, which I find to be fucking ridiculous.
I mean, it's always going to be their tired argument. And again, I think they're living in a world that really doesn't exist anymore sometimes when they say some of this stuff. They're living kind of, when you hear some of the arguments that they use, especially you mentioned before, like ratings and stuff like that, we're not talking about Sami Zayn being a needle mover, and the belt has to be on somebody who's going to be a needle mover. And by the way, these people who became needle movers, right? They had to win the championship probably a few times before they were, elevated to that level. Because by holding the championship, you get to work with all of these people on top. And then maybe as time goes on, you get more over as the champion, right? People don't look at it from that perspective sometimes either. This was never about putting the belt on Sami Zayn and making him the face of SmackDown. This was never about putting the belt on Sami Zayn and having it on him for like an extended period of time where he's going to be working with 6 or 7 or 8 different people. And oh my God, business is going to crash out with this guy on top as the champion. This was always inevitable, right? I was kind of hoping he would at least get to SummerSlam with it.
Yeah.
But I think we all expected that this was going to come to an end fairly soon. I didn't know it was going to be 9 days soon. And that was very disappointing to see. But at the same time, I said, like, I'm torn. I'm torn because even though I wanted to see him have a little more time with it, and it really, like, I can imagine, like, he was very disappointed, legitimately very disappointed. And the people that work with him who were so happy for him when he won the belt, WWE posted a video of Becky Lynch and Kevin Owens and all these people hugging him and embracing him. And oh my God, I can't believe this is so great, right? Because they love Sami Zayn. And he probably got text messages from like all kinds of people. And then I can imagine when the show was over last night, he was like, demoralized.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything wrong.
Did you see that promo that he cut at the end of the match that they posted on their
Twitter?
Twitter?
He crashed out. It was great. It gives me hope that maybe there's a glimmer of hope he'll still be involved in that main event at SummerSlam, although I don't have a lot of faith in it. But there was a lot of fire and probably a lot of real emotion, I think, behind some of those words in that post-show promo. He had the chance to hold the championship. I don't think he's going to hold it again. I think that's it. And that's too bad. Some people will never have the chance to hold the title. The fact that he even held it, I'm glad he had that moment, because even in his mind, he probably was starting to wonder, am I ever going to have this moment? But I think where people are, not everybody, obviously, some people are very happy that he lost the belt last night, but some people are very upset, and I understand that. But I'm kind of torn, because what it looks like we're heading towards at SummerSlam, and I think we agree on this, is honestly one of the biggest matches this company can do. It's a match I've wanted to see for a very long time.
It's the match that I called for, that I wanted to see more than anything at WrestleMania this year.
Yeah. And if we are getting that match, that's a big match, Cody and Punk, to do one-on-one at SummerSlam. But for it to come at the expense of Sami, and only getting 9 days after 10 years of chasing, I feel bad for the guy, right? He's going to make the same amount of money he made a week ago. It's not like a real promotion where he, got promoted and now he's demoted and he's going to make less money. Again, it's all part of the show. We get that. Again, it's a work, bro. We get it. But at the same time, it means something to him. And it would have been nice for him to at least get one successful title defense under his belt. He had zero. I said on TNT last week, I wasn't really totally joking when I said this, but I did make the comment. I said, by the time you and I come on here next week, it is very likely that Sami Zayn will no longer be the WWE Champion the next time we have a TNT episode, and here we are.
Well, we both thought it would be Cody Rhodes, and thankfully, I'm looking at this now after the fact, 24 hours later. I'm glad that it wasn't Cody Rhodes. So I ask you, we all knew Sami was going to lose the championship. Mm-hmm. Did Triple H go with the lesser of two evils here in Punk instead of Cody, and put the title on CM Punk, because he knew that if he made the title switch back to Cody, it will result in a bunch of negative feedback online that he certainly doesn't want going into SummerSlam, because that's all anybody would be talking about. So we use CM Punk in this situation because he knows everybody universally, most of the people universally love CM Punk.
Oh, I don't doubt. I think you're giving him too much credit. I don't doubt that they knew they were going to be in Chicago. And so they're like, well, if we're going to do this, this is the place to do it. If we're going to bring back Punk and we want him in the title mix, why don't we put the belt on him in Chicago? And it'll be a big moment, and everybody in Chicago that night is going to go nuts. And they did, right? The atmosphere was electric, and they were very happy to see him win the belt. I don't think it's necessarily as, not complicated, but as you just described it, I think it's actually very simple. I think they just wanted to do the bigger match at SummerSlam. The money match to them is Cody Rhodes against CM Punk. The money match is not Cody Rhodes against Sami Zayn. The money match doesn't involve Sami Zayn, period, in their mind. And you can't argue, Cody and Punk are objectively bigger stars than Sami Zayn. They have a stadium show, which they're not selling nearly as many tickets right now as they did a year ago for last year's SummerSlam, because they don't have John Cena. That is part of it. But they're lagging behind a lot where they were last year.
Neither show has 30,000 out the door yet.
And they ended up with over 50, between 50 and 60 for both nights last year.
Yeah.
Their last I checked, it was around 25 for both nights this year.
Fucking bad.
We're less than a month out.
Well,
so in their mind, they're looking for the biggest possible main event. They're looking for the biggest attractions that they can, which, look, I understand it, right? You're promoters, and you have tickets to sell. You got 2 nights. What is the biggest possible match that we can do? What is the program or the feud that maybe can even lead SmackDown for the rest of the year? Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. It's something that they've not done before. It's fresh. We haven't seen it. I mean, we've seen these two around for years. I'm saying against each other. It actually is a fresh match. I love it. I don't disagree with any of that. The timing, though, fucked over Sami Zayn. That's really what it boils down to. Punk was going to come back around this time. They decided to put the belt on Sami now. And so he was fucked the minute they did that. He was doomed. If he didn't lose it last night, it would have been Saturday night's main event, or it would have been SummerSlam at the absolute latest. And that's just the way it worked out. And that's why I'm torn. I want to see Cody and Punk. I wish it didn't have to come at the expense of taking the belt away from Sami as quickly as they did. I understand people being upset about it. If you want to look at this logically, Punk coming back, not even being on SmackDown, by the way. Now he will be. But last we saw him, he was a Raw guy, and he lost to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. He left for 2 months. This was part of Sami's crash out, by the way, in that promo where he's like, this guy leaves, and he's calling him a motherfucker and all this stuff, and they're like bleeping it out. He goes, this fucking guy leaves, and he waltzes back in, and he takes the championship from me. What did he do to deserve a shot at that title? What did he do to earn that match? And he's got a valid point, by the way.
Yes.
And so you could look at it and go, man, this is stupid. Like, Punk just walks in and wins the belt. People were calling him Punk Hogan, CM Hogan. I saw all those.
MJF put an Instagram story of Hogan with the fucking black eye doing the fucking chin pose with the WWF title at WrestleMania. and then he deleted it. I'm like, why did you delete it? Don't delete it.
Little dimple in the chin. Yeah, I mean, so you're going to get a lot of comments like that. And yes, of course, it's ridiculous if you want to really be like a stickler for details here. But I guess they explained it on TV last night where Nick Aldis was like, hey, you know, I went and I made a phone call to somebody and I got a big name, you know, to show up for the show tonight because we needed a challenger for the title. So that didn't bother me like too much. Punk being on SmackDown is going to be a good thing. Punk against Cody, I think it's going to be... Could be some great promos there between the two of them. My only hope, they can find a way to turn it into a triple threat.
That's
because if they don't, I don't think Sami Zayn even has a match on the SummerSlam card.
That was my next question to you. I don't. This is the only aspect of it I don't like because Triple H has been heavily reliant on moments. He booked the moment in Saudi. He gave Sami the title. He took the title off of Sami to put it on Punk in Chicago for another moment. All these moments theoretically now have left Sami Zayn with a huge question mark going into SummerSlam. He has more of a complaint and more of a valid reason than anybody right now in recent memory. He got booked to win the championship at Night of Champions, only to then a week later, he was told that he had to defend the WWE Championship, which is a SmackDown title, on Monday Night Raw, and he's a SmackDown star, by the Monday Night Raw GM. Because Nick Aldis went on administrative leave. Cody got injured, and there was no match. And Nick Aldis, who is the general manager of SmackDown, made a decision on Raw while on administrative leave when he shouldn't have any GM powers, found CM Punk, who had done nothing to earn a championship match, and he won the championship in Chicago against Sami. So Sami has all these things as like a laundry list of reasons that he can go to the jury with and be like, this is wrong. I deserve another opportunity because this is not right. Do you think, based on everything, Triple H would leave him off the card because he wants Cody and CM Punk to live one-on-one as the main event of Night 2 of SummerSlam? Or do you include Sami Zayn, which he has every fucking right to based on what we've seen on television, and make it a triple threat match? Now, if they do that, we just saw a triple threat match at Night of Champions with Gunther. Are we going to run the same main event back minus Gunther with Sami, Cody, and Punk at SummerSlam? I think that's kind of dipping into the well again once too many times.
I mean, you could do it. Do I see them doing it? And that's my fear. No, I don't. And that's why I said this to you before we went live tonight. What I think we're looking at here is we have this Saturday night's main event show coming up in less than 2 weeks, and they need a big match on that show. I mean, again, that show it's appalling right now how awful that card is, but it's incomplete. They do Cody and Sami Zayn in a rematch on that show because both men have a claim now. Cody never got his rematch, right? Gunther fucked him out of it. And Sami absolutely has an argument for why he deserves a... If Cody's going to get one, then why wouldn't Sami get one? Well, there's a very easy solution to this. You have the two of them have the match that they were supposed to have last night, but it's a number one contenders match.
But isn't Cody owed a championship match because he got one taken away from him last night? Why would you put him in another number one contender match?
Well, I mean, again, yes, you could argue that he deserves a shot at the championship anyway, but that's never stopped them before from, we had fucking Femi win the King of the Ring, and he was supposed to get a title shot at SummerSlam, and he's like, nah, you know what, I'm not going to get a title shot. Like, rules don't mean anything to these people anyway. I look at it as you need a big match for that show, and you can make the argument for Cody and Sami, kind of the ultimate final battle here between the two of them. And Sami could argue also, like, I'm owed a rematch because I wasn't ready. I didn't know who my opponent was going to be. Cody was supposed to get his shot, but whatever. It didn't happen. It got taken away from him. And all it takes is one promo where you have Cody and Sami in the ring on SmackDown this week, and Cody can make the argument that you just made. Like, I'm owed a rematch, and Sami's like, he convinces him. Why don't you face me? You got a rematch coming to you? I should have one coming to me. Why don't we just have a battle, and whoever wins gets that one match against CM Punk? And the winner of that match goes on to SummerSlam to challenge. Punk can be sitting at ringside doing commentary for the match. Cody's going to beat him. And then Cody gets the match one-on-one against Punk. I'm just saying I could see that being the match on Saturday night's main event.
No, I could see that. I could see
Even though
that.
you make a good point where Cody should be owed one anyway, but I could see them wanting to do that match with that stipulation. There's something tangible on the line. It has SummerSlam implications. Because I don't see Punk defending the belt, and I don't see Roman's not wrestling on that show. What other match would they do in the main event if you have none of the world titles being defended in Madison Square Garden? You have to have some big match.
Well, the last Saturday night's main event didn't have a big match at all. It was a tag team title match and an IC title match with Penta and Ethan. Yeah, I know.
It's different.
Yeah, you're going to need Cody on the show, yes.
You're going to have... And dude, look at the cards so far. I know Danhausen is going to be super over, like in New York, of course. But dude, this card is deplorable right now. We're less than 2 weeks away. You have to have Cody or someone big in the main event on that show. I just get the sense we're building to Cody and Sami, which we were supposed to get last night. If I'm right and they do that, there's no way Sami wins that match, dude. Like, there's just no way.
No, I feel bad that he doesn't have a solid spot on the SummerSlam card, even though he has every right to have a match at SummerSlam. I just, the way that they went about it, you know, I'm like you, I'm torn. Sami won the championship. He deserved more than 9 days. I love what they did last night to set everything up. I mean, everything was right, even though it's a little outlandish that the man comes back after 2.5 months and he's got a championship opportunity that fell out of the sky. I mean, he predicted it like on the Raw after Mania this year. Mm-hmm. You know, and yet in the same month we've had Oba relinquish his title match to go wrestle Brock, and Seth didn't win King of the Ring. He's getting a championship match against Roman Reigns. It's like everything's up in the air. You know, supposedly this plan with CM Punk winning the championship in Chicago was laid out a month ago. Everything has just kind of fallen into their lap, and they've booked it as they've gone along. So with Sami now potentially being out of SummerSlam, we're looking at Punk going to SmackDown, which is absolutely a tremendous move because SmackDown needs more help than anything. He adds a sense of legitimacy to the show. How does CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, two top baby faces in the company, coexist at the top of the card? And I pitched last night on my Raw review, and a lot of people agree with me, and I had a nice clip go and do really good numbers on Instagram today. Do you see potentially? Now, I may be setting myself up for a fantasy booking, disappointment here. Do you see that all of this and what we've seen lead to Cody Rhodes turning at least somewhat heel against CM Punk? Because I said Punk can play either role, and he's going to be the same. If we look at both guys side by side, Cody needs a character change more than anyone in the company. And if he's going to be standing side by side next to CM Punk, he's going to pale in comparison just based on the way he's been booked. So do you see Punk being the babyface and Cody being a little bit more darker here to go against CM Punk? Because I can't see anybody right now out of these two that are going to be at the top of the card fighting over that title.
I mean, darker going into the match or coming out of it?
I would say the build starts it, and then coming out of it, he starts to turn a little bit into those heelish. He's operating as a heel now. He's taking more cheap ways out to win matches than recently. I would love to see him come out of this, kind of tread that heel line.
I think having Punk on the show makes it a lot easier for them to go ahead and turn Cody heel now than it would than like going into WrestleMania this year or last year, where it would have been ridiculous to turn Cody heel. This feels like the first time to me where it's like, okay, this now you can actually really think about doing this. Because if, let's say, they're going to be 1A and 1B on SmackDown, if you give the fans a choice, you can only boo one and cheer one, they're going to cheer CM Punk.
Yeah.
They're going to pick Punk over Cody. And I believe that. And so knowing that, I would like to see it. I'm not convinced that they are ready to pull the trigger on that. Again, look at all the things that he does. Like, he's got his podcast. He's like, again, he's that poster boy. Are they ready to give all that up and turn him heel? Or does any of that even matter in 2026? Does that even matter anymore?
To me, it doesn't matter. I mean, the Wheatley's vodka and all this other nonsense. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, they pull the curtain back so much, Unreal and everything else. Like, can he be a heel and still also be the good guy doing all of this other outside the ring stuff? Is that going to make a difference? I guess that's the question. But I would like to see Cody go heel, because I think, boy, that's going to make for a lot of really interesting television on SmackDown going forward. If you have a Cody and Punk extended feud with Cody as, I mean, like really as the heel, not teasing it or dancing around it, but like really embracing it.
Yeah.
That could be a lot of fun.
I mean, he's tried to avoid it for so many years. The reason why he didn't do it in AEW was because he didn't want to. I don't know why he didn't want to do it in AEW. I didn't think he wanted to disappoint the fan base. He thought the fans actually called for it, and he didn't want to do it for some reason. Maybe it was an internal mentally thing. I don't know. But he's been trying to avoid it for the last 4 or 5 years, and I don't think there's a situation where he's just going to have to come to embrace it. He can't run for it forever. And now he's in a situation where he's with the right guy to actually perform a heel turn. Like you can't ask for anybody better than CM Punk to turn heel against.
No. I mean, that's why I've been waiting so long to see this match. I think these two are going to bring out the best in each other. To me, the best that you could bring out of Cody right now is a more heelish Cody Rhodes, because it's just going to be so unlike what we have seen him doing. Cody fatigue is a real thing. And I'm not saying he's not over. Like, there are times where Cody will get booed, and then he's got a very good way of winning the crowd back. We've actually seen this multiple times. We saw it with Cena. We saw it with Randy Orton. He'll have this one promo where he really gets very animated, and he it's like this classic kind of Dusty-like promo, and he has a way of winning the crowd back. He's very good at that. But I do think Cody fatigue is setting in on a lot of people. There are people that have been sick of him for a while now, but Cody fatigue is a real thing, and I think the longer that they push it off, the more risk they run of the fans really starting to just kind of rebel against this and say, look, we're getting tired of this. We don't want to see this anymore. Do you want to wait until that happens, or do you want to kind of get ahead of it before it happens? I would want to get ahead of it. That's what I would want to do.
Yeah, because at that point, if you don't get ahead of it, then you're just risking the heel turn kind of falling on its face, and they're booing him for the wrong reasons.
But then it also just looks like you're being reactive.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, okay, we dragged our feet for too long, and now we have no choice. Our hand is being forced. Wouldn't you want to be more proactive and, like, make it your own idea? Like, you're the puppeteer pulling the puppet strings. Okay, we're going to turn him heel now because we feel like now is the right time, and we're in control. Like, this is all part of the plan. I would rather just kind of get ahead of it, and with Punk being on SmackDown, now's the perfect time. What before Punk went to SmackDown, right? Up until now, and Randy Orton hasn't been seen in months, right? You've had Cody on SmackDown. You've had the last real good guy in Sami Zayn. You haven't had a whole lot else. That's it. This is all we've had now. Gunther, I guess they moved Gunther over to SmackDown. He's a heel, but this show, this is exactly what SmackDown needs. Honestly. And I'll tell you what else SmackDown needs. And I don't know where he is in terms of his progress, but my God, if there was ever a time for this man to come back, it is Kevin Owens.
I know you saw his tweet today.
I did not.
He posted, I failed to put it into the stream, but I have it queued up here as far as the news article. He posted a picture Tuesday morning. Owens took to social media and shared a single mysterious image of the boogeyman holding a clock. Now, people were like, what does this mean? Does the TikTok representation mean that his contract's coming up and he's not going to be with WWE? Or is he coming back to the company soon because of what's happening here with Punk and Sami getting fucked over, and he's going to come back as best friend? That would be tremendous television.
So what I said on my end, on the sound off this weekend was, it actually works either way. If you want to have Owens come back to sort of avenge his friend, it works, right? And then you do Owens and Punk, which is a match that we have not seen.
That's the second biggest match they can do on television right now to me.
I mean, business-wise, it's Cody and Punk.
Yeah.
But in terms of just matches that we haven't seen that I really want to see, that would be number 2. But it also works the other way, where Owens can be like, it was supposed to be me beating Sami to win the championship. I was the one who was supposed to fuck him over, not you. And so you just kind of go from there with it. Either way, like, dude, like, the timing is perfect. And again, you get him on SmackDown. Now you got Cody, you got Punk, you got Kevin Owens back. You still got Sami doing his last real good guy stuff. And now SmackDown's cooking with oil. Now it's like, oh my God, like this show has done a complete 180 from where it was just a few months ago.
And Jason hasn't even mentioned Drew McIntyre. He's out filming movies.
Yeah, we don't know when Drew's going to be back. I mean, I don't know that Drew will be on SmackDown because I still feel like Drew and Punk don't need to be on the same show. Yeah. So don't be surprised when Drew comes back if he pops up on Monday Night Raw. I'm just saying. But yeah, it's true. The last time we saw Drew, he was a SmackDown guy. So all it takes is just one heel turn or getting this guy back or a little tweak here, and all of a sudden, right, SmackDown could be the A show again. And I would love for SmackDown to be the A show again because it used to be, and then it turned to shit. And that's pretty much what it's been for the majority of this year. And it's exciting to think about, like if Cody goes heel and this guy comes back all of a sudden, man, like this is, we're back in business here. But like you, I'm a little worried. Like I'm getting excited talking about this, and I feel like we're setting ourselves up for massive disappointment here. That's my fear.
Well, I mean, hopefully that is exactly what Triple H is thinking, or at least in the same ballpark. What did you make of the match itself with Sami? I thought that was probably the best championship match on WWE TV all year.
Loved it. I loved it. I thought it was an excellent match. I mean, to be in the building was probably very special last night. Like this crowd was just going absolutely bonkers for this guy. From the moment he made his entrance, from the moment the bell rang, and then throughout the entire match. And they went 20 minutes, and the near falls and everything. There was a point in the match where I think Sami hit him with a GTS, and then he hit him with a Blue Thunder Bomb, and then Punk kicked out. And I felt like I was watching Forbidden Door here for a moment. But beyond that, like, again, they were hanging on to every near fall. Yeah, there was a lot of finisher spam in there.
Bro, there was a spot with the fucking... with the Anaconda Vice, and Sami was nowhere near the ropes.
No,
and he had one hand free. I'm like, scratch the eyes, you fucking dummy. Just rake the eyes to get out of it. He didn't do it, but...
Yeah. Well, I think he wrapped his legs around his...
I don't know what he was trying. I guess he was trying to go for the Koji clutch in some weird way. I don't know what he was going for.
Yeah. But again, I thought it was great. I thought it was one of the best TV matches all year in any company. That's why, like, I look at this and I'm like, if Sami's reign had to end... At least it didn't end on like a roll up or a cash in or like some 30-second match where he's just like Kofi lost in 8 seconds to Brock. Like it could have been worse. And instead he went out there in front of a hot crowd.
I knew he was going to get cut. I don't know if he was paying attention or not. Jason got cut because of StreamYard. He'll be back. He'll realize it. He'll realize it. I had clicked stay in studio, and he was trying to make a good point here, and he just got cut. I don't know why. Maybe he didn't see it pop up on his end. I don't know. But right now we're discussing the Sami Zayn and CM Punk situation from last night. The match. There he is.
You're not going to interrupt my rant here. No, sirree.
Continue, sir.
But what I was saying is, well, like what I was happy about was like. They're out there having this kick-ass match, right, in front of this molten hot crowd. And they go 20 minutes, and it's this back-and-forth battle. And it's just like, this could have gone south so many ways. It could have been a 30-second squash. It could have been, a roll-up or something just awful. But he got to go out there and have one killer match. He only had one in his reign, but he had one killer match in his reign. I could think of worse ways to go out as the champion.
With everything that they did last night, with everything that they did last night and the way that they set it up, Punk the champion now, Sami only a 9-day reign. He's not going into SummerSlam as the WWE champion. Was there, in your eyes, a better way to make Sami at least get through this and get to SummerSlam as the champion, or did they do the best possible solution or the best possible creative to get us to SummerSlam here with what they did last night?
No, I mean, there was absolutely a way to do it. And I think maybe we even touched on it last week where you could have had Punk come out at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
And then be out there for commentary during the main event. And he kind of plays, Sami knows his title is in jeopardy. So he goes over and, face washes Punk or something, and then Punk comes at him and gets Cody DQ. Now Cody's pissed, like, you just cost me my shot at the championship. Now you've linked all three of them together because Cody doesn't like Sami. Now Cody doesn't like Punk. Punk doesn't like any of these guys, and now you can make the argument for a triple threat at SummerSlam. And I would have liked that. And you could still do Cody and Punk at some point down the road. Again, we really want to see that match. I think you and I both. But yes, there was a better way to do it where Sami still could have been included, and that would have been the way to do it. So, something like that. You could have done that.
Well, what we know now is WWE has 25,000 tickets for night 1 and night 2 out the door, just about. They have a lot of tickets still yet to sell, and it's only 3 weeks to go till SummerSlam, August 1st and August 2nd. And we have the biggest match that they have currently tapped into on the roster happening in, I don't know if Roman's going to want a main event night 1. I would absolutely main event SummerSlam completely with this match.
Oh, my God. Roman and Seth, that's night 1.
Yeah, night 1.
Yeah, no. You're closing the weekend with Cody and Punk.
Yeah, they have a lot of tickets to sell, and this match being announced in the next week or so is absolutely going to move a lot of tickets out the door and get them to hopefully where they need to be. But if you guys are wondering why Sami's not in the main event when he could absolutely come out on Friday and give you every reason under the sun why he deserves to be there, like Jason said, he may end up with just a Saturday night's main event match with Cody, and that's it. And then not be featured at SummerSlam at all for them to preserve Cody and CM Punk in the main event of night 2.
Well, what a slap in the face, though.
I know.
If he's left off that card, dude, like,
it sucks.
You got 2 nights. You're going to do 13 or 14 matches. I'm just struggling to, like, if he's not in that main event, I'm struggling to, like, figure out what other match he would even be in. That's why I say that.
It's like what we talked about with AEW. Taking MJF out of the title situation and not putting him in the main event of Wembley is just kind of like a what the fuck decision. Like, this is the same
but he's not going to be left off the show, though.
I
He'll
know.
be on the show.
I'm saying it's similar. It's a similar feeling. But yeah, Sami should absolutely be on the show. We'll see what happens. SummerSlam is looking. I think I read a report that Triple H wants to make SummerSlam bigger than WrestleMania this year, which it's not going to be difficult to do because WrestleMania was a fucking stinker of a show.
Well, I know exactly what he has to do. Then he's got to pick up the phone and bring back Pat McAfee. The only thing left to do, man. You got to get McAfee. You got to get Pat McAfee back involved in the another Cody Rhodes main event here.
Yeah. So that's everything that happened on Monday night. Again, a historic night, a very memorable night, and I can't complain at the end of the night. I can't complain if CM Punk is the WWE Champion, and that's exactly who you want leading the show. He looks great. He was the MVP of WWE before he went away, and he's going to resume his spot there on Friday night. Just quickly, before we get to the Super Chats, I just seen this. I figured we'll just have fun with this before we get to the Super Chats. Jinder Mahal, one of Jason's favorites. He was interviewed on TMZ Inside the Ring, and he pushed back on the narrative that his championship reign was one of the worst ever. And he says, and I quote, "I know there's a common theme that I was given the WWE Championship for WWE's market share in India, but that India market was there when I got released, and it's there when I was in 3MB, and it's still there to this day." He says, "The key was the personal transformation that made him worthy of the spot in the first place. I had to become the champion before I became the champion," pointing out his physical overhaul and his improved promos and his newfound confidence.
I'll just stop you there just real quick. It had nothing to do with his promos. It had everything to do with his physical transformation.
Had I not had the transformation and that improvement, I wouldn't have gotten that spot. Mahal said that investment in himself, right down to the custom suits he began wearing, and that part of his journey, that's what most people don't understand. The investment into myself was just overcoming. That's the part that I would want to share. None of that resonates with me whatsoever, and no matter what excuse he wants to throw at me, it is still one of the worst WWE Championship reigns of all time, and it's something that absolutely crippled SmackDown to a point where I didn't think they would recover. That's all I have to say about that. I don't know how you feel about his comments there, but I thought that was pretty comical that he's trying. I
understand I understand what he's saying. Where if you want to be in that role, you have to look the part, you have to dress the part.
Sure.
And I'm sure all of that played a role, but I guarantee you, Vince McMahon took one look at him and this physical transformation that he went through at the time, and he was like, "Oh, like." there's this meme, and it's from a segment on SmackDown many years ago where Vince was interviewing for his secretary position. And so he had all these people come down to the ring and he's interviewing them in the ring. You know, do you take good dictation? And like, how many words per minute do you type? And then it ends with Stacy Keibler coming out. And Stacy Keibler sits on top of the desk and she spreads her legs in his face. This creepy fucking bastard that he is. And he makes this face like his eyes are wide and he falls backwards in his chair. And that's what I imagine probably happened the first time he laid his eyes on Jinder Mahal when he saw this physical transformation. He probably stopped what he was doing. His mouth hit the floor and he said, we need to put the championship on that guy. And all of a sudden, Randy Orton is doing a job on pay-per-view to Jinder Mahal. And you know who suffered as a result of this? You know who never became champion because of this?
Shinsuke Nakamura. Yes.
Shinsuke Nakamura never got a title run because it was more important for him to do not one, but 2 pay-per-view jobs to Jinder Mahal in, what was it, 2017?
Yes.
That's why Shinsuke never won the belt.
One of them was at SummerSlam.
One of them was at SummerSlam, and then whatever, maybe it was the next pay-per-view after that.
I think it was Hell in a Cell, I think.
I believe so. It was definitely, there were definitely 2 pay-per-views in there. God, what a...
That's what I call a genetic jackhammer, pal. Yeah.
The Maharaja.
Yeah, the modern day Maharaja. Yes, thank God. Yeah. Thank God we don't have to deal with that anymore. But SmackDown somehow is worse now than it was when he was the champion. So, crazy how the more things change, the more they stay the same. Thank you guys very much for all of your supports. Great show tonight. Great discussion. Gonna try and get you out of here in a decent amount of time. And we had 2,800 people in here. Again, thank you guys very much. We had 875 likes. Let's try and get 1,000. That is absolutely attainable. So please go and hit that thumbs up. And super chats are open. It's the best way to support the show. We are 12 out of 20 on the goal. I'd love to see another 8 more come in here so you guys can have fun. I'm going to be giving away this hat that I'm wearing. I got a bunch of them. And an off the script baseball bat beer mug, which I wish I could hand some to the Atlanta Braves so that they could actually win a fucking ball game or two, you know? Like they can't even beat. They can't even
get no sympathy out of me.
They can't even beat the fucking Mets this weekend. Jesus Christ, you know?
Yeah, that is pretty sad, actually. That's very
in Atlanta.
Sad.
Never mind. Not even at Citi Field. They can't even beat them. Jesus Christ. So get those in. Any help on the super chats goes a long way. So thank you guys very much. Go follow Jason on Twitter and on YouTube. Everything you need from him is linked down below in the description. And like Jason said before at the open of the show, House of Glory High Intensity on August 7th will be streamed on YouTube. Jason made that announcement earlier today on Twitter. So keep an eye on that, man. We're doing some big things. So some big shows coming up. And stick to the socials to find out what's going on. All right, man. Super chats. Who are we going to start with? I'm assuming it's going to be Michael Krause. He's always number 1 here, and that's exactly who it is. JD Jason, OTS TNT. All gas, no breaks with it. Yeah. Thank you, Michael.
Shout out to Michael.
Nate with a $5 super chat. Solo, I just watched Obsession, top 5 horror movie in recent times, and Indy, who played Nikki, did amazing. Oba, Brock, Hell in a Cell, that would be my main event. Another Obsession review there for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm glad that people are enjoying the movie. It's my favorite movie of the year. I think that Indy Navarrete is going to get an Oscar nomination. I think she has a real shot at winning an Oscar this next, whenever the awards is next year, I guess. She's a revelation in this movie. I know you still haven't seen this movie.
I have not. I have to. I have to at some point.
It is out on digital. You will not have the full theater experience. Because I do think, like, if you didn't see this in theaters, so you can, like, hear and see other people's reactions to a lot of these scenes, you're losing some of it. But, like, it's out on digital now. You have no excuse.
Well, you did tell me that you had a website for me, which I did find. Is that the website that you told me about a while ago? Because I have it saved to my browser.
Yes, it is.
Okay, it's on there. All right. I know what accent then. Okay.
Yes. Well, by whatever means, you may indulge yourself there, but definitely check it out. I think that not only do I think she's going to get a nomination, I think the movie can get multiple nominations. I mean, it's that good.
It's great when you find something that really is fucking good nowadays, because the things nowadays are very, very hard to come by.
And it's an original story, and it doesn't have like a bunch of name actors in it.
Yeah.
So it kind of came out of nowhere. It wasn't like it had a bunch of A-list celebrities attached to it or anything like that, or it's some sort of reboot or sequel or big budget blockbuster. It's an original screenplay, and it's a movie that was directed by somebody who came from YouTube. See, it gives you and I hope that maybe one day we can have our own obsession.
Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Still struggling over here to get by on fucking wrestling content. You want to go direct a movie? Produce a movie?
That's a horror movie all unto itself.
Yeah. And we watch a horror movie every Friday. It's called Friday Night SmackDown.
Feels like it. At least it's 1 hour less, though, of that horror movie now. At least until January.
Yeah, I know. Everybody was shocked. JD, you see this new SmackDown go back to 3 hours? Like, guys, where you been? It's happened the last 2 years. It's not really news. It's just something that's just ingrained in us now for the next 4 years. Jorge, 8 months. Hey, JD, favorite Puerto Rican baseball player now and of all time. Favorite WWE 2K game now and of all time. Much love and respect always. Favorite Puerto Rican baseball player? I don't know. The Sammy Sosa count? I don't know. I have to think about that, Jorge. Favorite WWE 2K game of all time? Honestly, I think the older ones play better than the current ones. 2K13, 2K14. I don't like the current games. I don't know. There's something about them that just feels soulless, or there's like a lot of manipulation with the way they monetize things and points and fucking battle passes. It's not my thing, bro.
JD is more of an attitude and Warzone guy.
Yes, I am. Baltimore Jackson, $9.99. He says, I'm buying a spot on the wheel, JD, for Friday. I hate to see Sheamus go. He's one of my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time. One of my favorite moments was seeing him cashing in on Roman. It was great times. Sheamus is incredible. He's going to do good. And we'll be paying attention no matter what. And he doesn't have a 90-day attached to it, so whenever he is free to go wherever he wants. Michelle with a 5. Triple H may not turn Cody heel in fear of another disaster, as in Cena's heel turn, and any chance Seth Roman end in DQ to protect both of them.
Well, that would be awful, wouldn't it?
No, Roman's winning.
The last time they had a pay-per-view PLE, I'm pretty sure it was that Royal Rumble match they had a few years ago, and I think that ended in a DQ also. So, like, to do another DQ would be fucking lame. You can't do that.
No,
Roman's gonna beat him straight up.
Cody heel turn, fear of another disaster like Cena. I mean, when Triple H books for moments, he doesn't have any vision. He books for the moment, and that night it comes off great, and then he doesn't have any plan or plan of action, and everything just kind of falls to the wayside and gets wasted. It hasn't happened yet, so I don't want to write it off yet. But if you're asking me if Cody will be a good heel, yes, I do think he'll be a good heel, a better heel than Cena. Beantown with a $9.99. Love watching TNT every Tuesday night with JD and the Solid Monster. Big fan of both of your channels. Best wrestling content out there. I'm curious what direction they go with Sami after last night. Well, we had a whole discussion on it, brother. We don't think he's making SummerSlam, which is sad. But when KO comes back, I mean, I could see KO backing his best friend up. Maybe we get Sami and KO versus Cody and CM Punk tag team action.
How would we arrive at that, though? When would that take place?
I don't know.
WrestlePalooza?
Yeah. And then maybe we start talking about the Cody heel turn.
That's fine. That works.
We got Arya with a 10. I agree. 100% with JD. We don't need to see Gunther in no more main events. Let's give Ludwig Kaiser, a.k.a. El Grande Americano, a chance. You got a future main event person here who can go. Triple A will make him great. He's not going to be on the main roster.
Yeah, no. You keep him in AAA.
Yeah, he was actually at the FIFA game, the Mexico versus England game.
They showed him, yeah.
That was a great game. I was watching that.
They lost.
And they did lose, yeah. He's a bad luck charm.
He's the opposite of Danhausen.
Johnny Boy Vaccaro with a 10. Sami can't be the shortest title reign in the last 5 years because Priest cashed in on Drew and Seth cashed in on Punk.
Yeah, he had to misspeak. I mean, Michael Cole made as soon as the match was over, he's like, this was the shortest world championship reign in 5 years. And I'm like, literally last SummerSlam, we had CM Punk hold the world title for 5 minutes. So he meant WWE title.
Yeah.
Obviously, he misspoke. I mean, but yeah, because I saw people talking about that. I immediately noticed it. I said, there's no way that cannot be right.
Well, I didn't even hear him say that. I initially just went with the fact that it was the WWE Championship that he was talking about. I don't even recall.
He said world championship.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, who calls him the most annoying announcer? I think someone on YouTube calls him the most annoying announcer on TV. I think James Romero calls him the most annoying announcer in wrestling. I don't think that's the case, but he's still great at what he does.
Well, who would you say is the most annoying announcer in wrestling?
Excalibur.
I thought you were going to say JD from NY206.
Well, I mean, I'm sure people do find us annoying, or me in general annoying, so. Boss Jax with the 199. Solo's video on trips was 2 thumbs up. Great stuff. Oh, the fun comment?
Yeah, the fun comment. Well, yeah, the comments he made on Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, that was about ridiculous.
About fun and taking things too seriously, which, again, not saying that that's not a valid point to make, but you look at some of the comments that he has made, including last year when he said, boy, I wish I could tell all the critics to fuck off and just be a fan. And you hear all of these comments, and like the key point that I made, among others, in my little rant, it was so wild to me that he would be talking to, of all people, and saying this stuff, Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
Who has made a career of being on and look, God bless him, he's very successful at it. But he has made a career of going on television, right? And criticizing and ranting and raving about teams and players and coaches and all kinds of things. And here's Triple H saying, boy, you shouldn't take these things too seriously. You should just be a fan and smile and enjoy it. And I could just picture Stephen A. is probably just like, shaking his head probably as he's listening to this. I'm like, here's what I want. They have this relationship with ESPN, right? We've seen Triple H in studio on ESPN shows before. I would love it the next time that Triple H is in studio on ESPN. I want him to go, and I guarantee you there's going to be people that are sitting around the desk who spend the majority of their time on the air criticizing, talking about players, this terrible performance the night before, the Braves are fucking terrible, the Mets suck, all this stuff, and let him say that to their face. Why is it only the fans who shouldn't be criticizing and just enjoying the show, right? I mean, wouldn't the same apply to these people? But, you know, that won't ever happen. I know why, but it's just such bullshit to me.
You think Triple H watches his favorite NFL team during the season and sits on the couch and sits there with a smile on his face while his team goes 1-7 in the first 8 games of the season and says nothing?
I don't think he has a favorite NFL team.
No?
I don't see Triple H sitting around just watching sports all day.
No?
On his time off. No, I don't.
I don't know.
I don't see it.
Come the NBA season, Stephen A. Smith is going to be ranting and raving about fucking the opening tip-off for the Knicks game next season. So,
I'm sure.
Good luck with that. Tone VC with a 10. Thank you, brother. Spot on the wheel for you. Caden with a 199. Thank you, Caden. Boss Mo Jackson with a 999. I watched Supergirl. I thought it was a decent movie, but I do agree with the complaints. However, there were more annoyances than making it a bad movie. I rated a 7. Not great, not bad. Your thoughts, JD and Saul. I never seen it, and I don't plan on watching it. It's already hitting digital, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it more or less bombed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no interest in seeing it, but I have no interest in seeing Superman. I'm not like a Superman guy,
no.
So why would I watch Supergirl?
No, yeah, I'm not a Superman guy either.
Or Superboy. Like
I'm hearing negative things about this Odyssey movie, this Christopher Nolan Odyssey.
Don't say that.
Why?
Don't say that.
Why?
I have my tickets already.
Do you? I don't know. I think a lot of it is overblown, honestly.
I have my tickets for next week. I'm seeing it on Thursday in IMAX. I mean, it's more like Limax. It's not like a real IMAX screen. I don't know. It's shot on IMAX 70 millimeter, and I think there's only certain theaters where you can actually see it the way it was meant to be shown.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing it locally. I'm not gonna like go into the city or anything just to see this thing. But yeah, I already reserved my tickets for it. I saw the opposite. I saw that there were all these reviews that came out earlier today from all these all the major outlets Variety and Deadline and all these places that are just raving about it and saying it's like unbelievable. So that's different than what you're hearing. I don't know where you're reading that.
Well, apparently critics have a problem with who played Helen of Troy in the movie. That's all I'll say. Because they weren't properly cast.
I did see people complaining about the fact that they have like no Greek like actors or anything. It's all these like Hollywood A-list like Matt Damon.
Yeah.
And I mean, all right, whatever. I mean, I guess you could critique that if you want to, but I mean, the reviews that I heard about earlier today are actually very positive. So I'm hoping it is, because it's a 3-hour movie, and I'm going to be very upset if I sit through 3 hours of this and I feel like I was cheated.
Well, it was Oak Street and The Odyssey were the two movies I was looking forward to. So hopefully this lives up to being as good as the trailer was. But my second favorite band, Symphony X from New Jersey, has a 30-minute song based on the actual novel, The Odyssey. And it's quite the journey. So if you guys want to go listen to that, that's a highly recommended one from me to you. Baltimore Jackson with the 199. NXT has more tag teams than the main roster. Yes, but NXT is not a good program, in my opinion, anyway. But I do like the Vanity Project, and I do like Hank and Tank. I think they're two solid teams there.
Well, outside of them, like, can you name another NXT team? I think the Dark State has been disassembled, I believe. So what other NXT tag teams can you name?
I can't.
Okay.
I can't. So maybe you could tell us, Baltimore Jackson. I don't know what's going on down there. We got Ash with a $2 super chat. Lesnar to do a shooting star press at SummerSlam. Off what? The Hell in the Cell? No.
Yeah, oh, that's good. That's great. Maybe in 2K you could do that, but you're not going to see that in Minneapolis.
No. I don't think Lesnar would even dare to attempt to climb the top rope at his age now. He doesn't need to. Rojo Bear, $5 super chat. Darby Allin had a better championship run than Sami Zayn. He did. Yes.
He did.
I wasn't a big fan of Darby Allin's title reign, but I have to agree there. Sidro with a $2 super chat. Jay divorced. It's just me, Oos. Divorced-ish. Jay Uso is going to be the punchline for quite a while on social media. There was apparently, I don't know. Yeah, you don't dwell on this. Somehow I see it in my recommends. There was a video of Jey Uso at a party that Indy Hartwell had filmed on her phone, and someone had superimposed this video that Indy posted on social media, and this was 4 years ago, by the way, and saw Jay sitting with Jada Parker, and they were kind of touching in a sensual way, and somehow this got blown out of proportion, and apparently this is what led to the current situation with Jey Uso. Fans are ridiculous. You people are more involved in these people's lives that you don't know than your own life. It's sad. But these are the things that we come across on social media. Baltimore Jackson with 199. Congratulations, Salamasa. You did it.
Thank you. Finish my story. I just hope this isn't the peak, because that was still the peak of creative for WWE. It's been all downhill since then. So
yeah.
I got to make sure that doesn't happen with me.
Captain Solo at $5 super chat. From one solo to another solo. Congratulations on your great accomplishment, Jason.
Thank you, sir.
6 rings with a 279. Cena was right. CM Punk is Mr. TKO. He's the only guy in the company that I could actually say makes the show better and hasn't made the show boring since he's gotten back. Roman's made it boring. Cody's made it boring. Sami Zayn's another one. He's another one. You know, you're going to look at the end of the year when we all talk about this and round up the end of the year. Who is WWE's top performer? It may end up being Sami Zayn at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Ilias with a 17. Solo has finished the story just like Cody Rhodes. He did.
That's right.
Vintage Grapes with a 199. What's up, boys? Favorite bourbon in an old-fashioned? Ooh. Huh, that's a good question.
Well, you're the old-fashioned expert, so.
I like Gentleman Jack. Normally, Jason can attest to that. Bullet's good. I like Jameson Crested. It's a Irish whiskey. and it's smooth as anything I've ever had, and it tastes fantastic. But you can only get it in Ireland, though, so you gotta kind of import it. But Jason likes his whiskey, but a little bit more simple. Huh? Mm-hmm. We'll just go with Gentleman Jack for him. Sidro with a 5. A lobotomist, a gym trainer, and a wedding cake designer started a band. They called it Blood, Sweat, and Tears. You get it? Tears like tiered cake?
Yes, I get it. I get it.
What shirt say to the pants? Sup, britches? I like the first one better, Sidro. Thank you. Luca with a $10 super chat, hitting 500 days of total sobriety today. You know what? That song just ended. We're going to give this guy a round of applause. That's
a big achievement.
Excellent achievement. JD, you, Solo, and Jesse have helped me through my journey of getting clean with your content and communities. One raffle ticket, please, sir. Much love. Thank you, Luca. And congratulations, brother. That is quite the accomplishment. It's something to be incredibly proud of. Keep it up.
Very, very happy to. It's not an easy thing to do. So that's a very cool thing, and we're very happy to hear it.
We got JM with a $5 super chat. I have a bad feeling Gable won't be winning the Gauntlet match. I see WWE putting him in a feud with the Vision because of the whole Maxine thing. Can you imagine?
Yes, I can. That's what's so awful about it.
Oh, my God. Hopefully you are wrong, JM. Slam Dunk created by Triple H. Gable and Penta at SummerSlam sells itself. Slade with 56 months. What's up, Oos? 5. Oh, my God. 5 letters, 1 word. Cheat. It's just me, Oos. You guys are going to fucking rip him apart, huh? Crazy. Brendan with a $4.99. JD Solo just wanted to say that AEW did Moxley and Swerve last year at Dynasty for the world title. That is right. That is right.
Yes, they did.
And it was not good. And the ending was terrible. I mean, Jason had a fucking a couple of blood vessels pop out of our heads watching that ending.
Quite the meltdown.
Robbie with a $9.99. Cornette should acknowledge the Solo Monster. Congrats on hitting #1 Solo.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Cornette acknowledge? Good luck.
No.
Jeff with 17 months. Cheers to the greatest tag team content creators in the game. Meeting Undertaker at Fanatics for picture with son. What WWE superstar would you meet for money? Well, thank you for the compliment, Jeff. I appreciate that. So does Jason. Who would I meet? I don't know.
Like pay to meet?
Who would you pay to get a picture with? Yeah.
I mean, of the current nobody of the current wrestlers.
If you had to choose one. I'll say either LA Knight. You know what? I'd say Sami Zayn. And for the ladies, Stephanie Vaquer. You know, I'm going to choose for Jason. He's going to take a picture with Blake Monroe.
You know what? I might. Well, that'd be great. Maybe Penta.
Okay, that's a good one.
Penta's always very cool. These like meet and greets and stuff. He's very good with the fans, so that might be worth it.
Slade, $4.99. CM Punk is the fucking man. I hope he turns heel, forms a powerhouse stable, and gives us a Hollywood Hogan-like heel run.
Let's temper our expectations here.
All right. I mean, sure, Punk can pull it off, but I doubt it. Boss Mo Jackson with a $9.99. Jey Uso just upgraded in the dating department. Big ups to him. It's too bad Sheamus never won the IC title. He should have won more, but it seems Cena and Roman had WWE on lock. I wish him well. Yeah, Sheamus is going to do fine for himself. He's not missing much of anything. You know, an IC title would have been great for us fans and great for him, but he's going to go and make his money, and I'm sure he's going to continue to win championships no matter where he is. Brian Mitchum with a $10 super chat. CM Punk is back and now WWE champ. Not mad at all at that. However, they always back themselves into a corner creatively. They do. A lot of it is very questionable. You know, they're trying to be unpredictable and trying to throw the fans off the scent a little bit too hard, and Triple H is too reliant on booking moments because he's got a SummerSlam show he's got to do a little bit better in the ticket department on. So you're seeing decisions that actively are affecting SummerSlam and need to, for his sake. Sidro, $5 super chat, just figured out why people say be there or be square. Because if you're not there, you're not around. And someone ripped the 5th month out of my calendar. I'm dismayed.
See, that one I like.
All right. See, you got him on that one, Sidro. There you go.
I like that one.
Poindexter, 13 months. It's a damn shame that we will not get to see what would be a banger after banger feud with Sheamus and Femi. I know. We thought he'd actually answer one of the open challenge weeks, but that was not to be had.
I mean, Sheamus and Bron Breakker.
Yeah. JD from the New World Order, 96, with a $4.99. 30 years ago, the group was born. JD. Jason, who's your favorite NWO member ever? Mine's Disco Inferno, Vincent, and the greatest of all time, David Flair. OTS for life, too sweet.
Well, I mean, there's so many to choose from. There were only 67 members of the NWO, so you can pretty much... I think everybody was basically an NWO member at one time or another. You know, Dusty Rhodes joined the NWO.
Did he?
At one point, yeah. He had big heel turn, ripped the shirt open. He had the NWO shirt on. Even fucking Dusty Rhodes joined the NWO.
Oh, my God.
Ridiculous.
What came up on my YouTube when I told you in the sound check I was watching WWE Vault? What came on after what I was finishing watching was Bash at the Beach, Jeff Jarrett and Hulk Hogan, where Vince Russo came out in his Giants jersey with the WCW title and Jeff Jarrett laid down. They stopped it as soon as Hogan said what he said on the microphone. I'm like, well, why did they cut it? Like the whole part of the match was Russo going at Hogan. You know, that was the most exciting part of that entire spiel.
Well, that was the beginning of what was supposed to be an angle until it turned very real, and then it wasn't an angle anymore.
Bossmo Jackson with a $1.99. My Austin theory is Triple H is controlled by TKO. I would, yes. They're not watching and booking weekly television, but to just go along with what you're saying, would they potentially have a say on what happens at SummerSlam for an event of this magnitude? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Alex with a $10 super chat. Brother JD and Solo, are you guys open to the idea of Enzo and Cash unifying both WWE tag team titles? Also, you guys remember Survivor Series 18 when Enzo got escorted out? Now he's coming back. Crazy times. I've been calling for this since 2016, so I've given up hope, honestly. And Jason laughs at me all the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, because it's false hope, but I don't care who does it. As long as they get unified, I would be in favor of it. It doesn't have to be Kaz and Enzo. It could literally be anybody. It could be the Vision.
Yeah.
As long as they unify the belts, because there's just no need and purpose in having two of them at this point.
Super Pony with a $9.99. Did you guys see Kevin Owens' Boogeyman tweet? If so, what do you think it means? If he's just trolling or legitimately teasing a return? Well, we talked about that towards the tail end of the Punk Sami discussion. Super Pony. He is very much missed, very much needed, and when he gets back, I think SmackDown is instantly going to become 1,000 times better than it is now. So we'll see what happens there, and hopefully he's on his way back. Like Jason said, he's been, or WWE rather, has been very quiet about his status, and hopefully that means it's good news. Quante with a $1.99. WWE fans really become heels. Yeah, I mean we're always kind of working heel. We just want a good product. Complain about everything. Not everything, but when it's good, it's good, and we'll let you know.
I mean, again, I've said the fans are the heels for a while now, and I think their continued support of Roman Reigns only supports my theory.
Captain Solo with a $5 super chat. Cody should want to go heel. It will probably make him the most over guy in the company if he really leans into it. It did wonders for Roman Reigns. Yeah.
Does he bring Brandy in if he goes heel?
I would not mind that. Yeah. Whatever helps him. Vinny P with a $1.99.
You know what that means, though?
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, Cody being on SmackDown, if he brings Brandy back and, Jade's on SmackDown, then we can have another open mic night, bitch.
There you go.
First time in a very long time, man. We got to have another one. We need an encore of that open mic night.
Hey, well, listen, at least Jade at that point will probably get a reaction, more so than she does now.
She called Jade a heifer that night.
Yeah.
Still remember that.
Yeah. I don't see where that is a factual statement, but...
No, but it was just funny to hear her say that.
Vinny P with a 199. I found Punk doing the Hogan taunt hilarious. He's always doing that. He loves to fucking toy around with that. Captain Solo at $5 super chat. If anything, Sami should be thrilled with all the storyline and attention he's getting. Matt Cardona would love to trade places with him. Yes, he would. And we love Matt Cardona. I don't know what's going on with him, but clearly he's Danhausen's newest pet project. JM with a $5 super chat. In kayfabe, it makes no sense for Adam Pearce to force Sami to defend his title a week after he won it when Liv Morgan hasn't defended her title once. Listen,
Not
bro.
once. Not once.
We
She
can't
won
be-
the championship at WrestleMania. It is July. And she has yet to defend her title one time.
It's coming up. You got to wait 3 weeks to see it happen. The Cerebral with a 5. Great show, guys. The intro music reminds me of the Four Horsemen theme. That's the point. Thank you, Cerebral. Ali with a 5. JD, did you see when the Street Profits were making their entrance, they went into the crowd and then Montez was dancing like that in front of the security guard? Yes, he was trying to make him crack and he didn't. But,
He's lucky he didn't get punched in the face.
He tried a little bit too hard there, but...
Gyrating right in the man's face as he's sitting there.
The guy wasn't having any of it. Furious Nation with a 499. What's up, JD and Solo? CM Punk might, I say, look great, and happy to see him back. Him to SmackDown is a good move. Screw the haters who say he is old and crippled. Who's saying that? The AW sickos who are still upset about what happened 4 years ago? Havili, 17 months. Thank you, brother. Thoughts on the original DX reunion in 2006? I was always wondering what the original plan was if Triple H didn't get injured in 07. Beat Cena or rated RKO?
Well, I mean, Triple H was going to wrestle Cena at WrestleMania 23. So the only reason Shawn Michaels got the spot is because Triple H got hurt. So I think the bigger question is, what would Shawn Michaels have been doing at that WrestleMania?
Yeah. What he would have been doing? What do you think?
I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, what were Edge and Randy Orton doing at WrestleMania that year?
I got to look it up. I don't remember.
I don't know if they had singles matches. Maybe he would have worked with one of them, possibly.
Rated
I don't know.
RKO WrestleMania. Let's see.
Were they on the card at WrestleMania?
Let's see. Heel tags and Red RKO did not compete as a duo, but instead faced each other as opponents in the eight-man Money in the Bank ladder match.
Yeah, so my guess is he probably would have worked with one of them maybe in a singles match. Instead of just sticking them both in Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I mean, give me either one of those matches. Edge, HBK, Randy Orton, HBK, sure.
Yeah, Edge and HBK is a WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
2006 Edge, no
Yeah,
less.
yeah.
Actually, well, I guess it would have been 07, but what was the first part of
Is
what he said?
the thoughts on the original DX reunion in 06?
Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah, it was at that point where it's just like kind of you're just running it into the ground at that point.
Yeah, I mean, they were older at that point. They were doing stuff like in a PG way where they weren't. I mean, the company wasn't PG yet, but they were doing like the glow sticks and they were doing all that stuff. And I'm like, this is fucking lame. I'm sorry. Like,
Hollywood guy with a $5 super chat. Did you guys see any more releases coming to make room for Eric Young, Mike Santana, Braun Strowman? Maybe I would assume that would happen. More releases? I mean, it's always possible.
I don't know where this Braun Strowman stuff is coming from. There's no report to support that there's an actual Braun Strowman return in the works.
No.
Corbin, there's been plenty of reports about him. I mean, look, it makes sense that if they're going to bring in 3, 4 new people, 5 new people, that they may look to, kind of offload some other people. But who that might be, I mean, there's no way of knowing. I always say this, like, if you're somebody on the WWE main roster who really isn't being used, you're on the bubble.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're one of those people, I would be worried. Like, you at least want to be involved in a story, and even then you're not safe because, look at Kairi Sane. But if they're not doing anything with you and you're just sort of showing up every week, and like the War Raiders are going to be wrestling Damian Priest and R-Truth soon. They're going to have apparently a unification match for the SmackDown tag belts and the AAA tag belts. And if that match happens, I cannot imagine that Damian Priest and R-Truth don't win that match. And then after that, I would be very worried if I was the War Raiders.
Yeah, because Damian Priest needs the AAA tag team titles to be booked on AAA after everybody else just goes down there for no reason.
Yeah, it's so important that we put the tag belts, two sets of tag belts on them, no less. But like, if that happens, if you're the War Raiders, I would be concerned. I'm not trying to be alarmist. It's just how I feel. If I were in their shoes, I would be very worried because you're not an essential part of the show.
No,
and so TKO don't give a shit. And so if they don't think you're an essential part of the show, either A, they ask you to take a pay cut, or B, they give you the boot. That's just the way it is.
Chat says Johnny Gargano may be on the cutting block soon. Sure.
He's literally on the block every single week. He's like laying there like a slab of meat, just planking every week. Yeah, I mean, I would be worried too if I were him. He's not exactly doing much on these shows.
Triple H can't save him forever. True Warrior with a $5 super chat. Hey, JD, longtime fan. Also, wouldn't it make more sense to have Brock Lesnar win the WWE title from Sami for Oba to win the title back at Summer? No. Why would Brock Lesnar get a shot at Sami Zayn, and why would Sami Zayn agree to that?
Yeah, we need to stop talking about Brock Lesnar winning titles.
That was the one thing that people threw at me all week, that Sami won the title, and I'm like, you guys are stupid. What are you talking about? That don't even make logical sense. Come on. Theme parks, 44 months. Do you guys see Sami eventually joining the Bloodline story again? Well, I saw Jacob Fatu's tweet. He left a little blood emoji, blood drop emoji, but could be just playing up the fans on social media. I doubt he goes back to the Bloodline. Don Stoney with a 5. Shout out to Don Tony, Wrestling Soup, Spitball Media, and as always, R.I.P. Kevin Castle. Thank you, Stoney. Love you, brother. Thank you for being here. Furious with a $4.99 times 2. Like you said last night, JD, every legend has to go through that heel phase. Cody going heel is for the best. A Cena-like babyface just doesn't work. Cody being a babyface, they all go through this phase. It's like you can instantly feel when some change needs to happen. I personally felt it with Cena. I personally felt it with Shawn Michaels. I felt it more with Cena. I just stopped watching for a full year because I just couldn't take it no more. And that's growing up with Hogan ending every show on a pay-per-view with the way he ended those shows.
Hogan must pose.
Yes, it's to a point. It just gets to a breaking point. And I just can't stand it no more. The only one that didn't make me feel that way was Bret Hart, Stone Cold, The Rock. Roman made me feel that way when Vince shoved him down our throats. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Cody's in that phase where he needs a change. Hopefully it happens. Also, heard WWE is interested in bringing in Hiromu Takahashi and Richard Holiday. I did hear the Holiday news. I heard that they're interested, if not already signed him, which is another TNAL.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why. I'll tell you what I'm surprised by. I'm surprised he didn't land in AEW. Considering the history with MJF.
Yes.
I have no idea. I don't know why it took this long for somebody to pick him up. I mean, he's a talented guy. He's got some size to him. But good. I hope it's true. It's about damn time. And the Hiromu thing, I'm pretty sure he's already locked in.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of wondering what his new name is going to be and when he's going to debut in NXT.
They'll probably pair him with Evil, I'm assuming.
Naraku, yes.
Yeah, Naraku, yeah.
Naraku.
Plus, going head-to-head with Saturday night's main event in MSG, ACW Independence Day. Well, there you go. Basic with the 39 months. Jey Uso, 1 word, 7 letters, alimony. Yeet. It's just me, Us. You guys are crazy. Reggie with the 57 months. What's up, JD and Solid Monster? I don't know if you guys talked about it. I just got off work. But what about Sami versus Punk at Saturday night's main event instead of SummerSlam? They could do that. I mean, Punk and Madison Square Garden against Sami for the title? Sure. Either way, I think we all came to the conclusion that Sami is not going to be booked for SummerSlam.
Well, I mean, not if he's not a part of that main event in some way.
Yeah.
they could work him in there, that's going to be his best bet because
Yeah.
I don't see what else he does on that show.
David Rice with a $10 super chat. I'm really hoping that they use CM Punk as the catalyst for a Cody heel turn. I am interested to see which way they go with Cody and Punk because I believe it will extend beyond SummerSlam. It absolutely will. This is one match of several, for sure. WrestlePalooza is going to be interesting because Mark Shapiro says they want WrestlePalooza to be on brand with like their bigger shows like a SummerSlam and a WrestleMania, which I mean, it's ridiculous to even say, but he wanted to make a point about it wanting the show to be important and big. We'll see.
Well, then maybe they'll put some celebrities on there since they love to do that so much.
Yeah,
we'll get Bad Bunny, and we'll get what's the guy? Oh my God, I forgot his name.
Lil Yachty?
No, the singer who just got divorced.
Oh, Jelly Roll?
Jelly Roll.
DL Bain with $4.99. What was Salamonster's thoughts on the debate between you and Russo? I don't think Jason saw it.
I checked out parts of it, and I thought JD acquitted himself very well. I thought he made his case. I support that case. I think he made a lot of sense. And you're only going to be able to get through to people if they want to be gotten through to. So,
yeah, you can't change Vince's mind. He's gonna think one way, and he's not gonna budge. So, I had fun. Supposedly we're supposed to be doing something again soon. Coach said today, but we'll see when that happens. Michael Krause with it too. Cody sells soul to The Rock. Heel turn. SummerSlam thoughts? No. I'm not booking Rock in any aspect for WWE.
Rock's very busy. He's got more movies that he's making.
Yeah, I think he just got signed off for another movie. I don't know what it was. I seen it on Twitter. So, Furious with a $4.99. After reading the recent leaked audio regarding Vince and Ari, I'm not surprised at all. Vince selling was a huge middle finger to his family. Jason played it at the beginning of the sound off this week, and I was in my car driving. I just bust out laughing. I'm like, this audio is ridiculous. Oh my God!
It's one thing to like read the transcript. It hits different when you actually hear the audio.
Yeah.
The key thing that Vince said in his message to his banking whoever the person was this solves a lot of problems. Let's go with the RE deal. This solves a lot of problems.
Yeah. Furious, thank you, brother. David Rice with a $10 super chat. I was at Dynamite in San Diego last week. TK should be very concerned because the venue, which isn't very big to begin with, was not even close to full. This was with an advertised world title match. Yeah, I heard from people in my stream that they were there and people were walking out during Collision because it was just way too long. I think he booked Collision. It was like 8 or 9 matches on Collision.
Yeah, it was, dude. It was a lot. It was a full card.
I don't know. That's just ridiculous. Thank you, David, as always, brother. Captain Solo with a 2. Comments on Jack Perry's comments on CM Punk. I didn't know there were additional comments. Did he make something today? Supposedly he's supposed to be a free agent. He's working without a contract right now.
Well, supposedly he's been negotiating with them and they still haven't reached a deal. And his existing deal, I think, is quickly approaching as far as its expiration. I still feel like he's going to end up staying there.
Yeah, he ain't going nowhere.
Let's see here.
We got Ali, with a $100 super chat. Thank you, brother. My favorite duo is back at it again. Drinks on me, fellas. Thanks for always discussing the hottest topics in wrestling every Tuesday night. Appreciate you both as always. OTS and Salamonster for life. Look at this guy, man. Another round of applause for him.
Wow, look at that. Always good to see the bombs dropping. Thank you, brother.
Ali, thank you, man. Big Brian, 74 at 39 months. Punk winning last night. I can see Tony Khan pulling the trigger on Omega winning the title. And do you think this will be CM Punk's last top title run? No, I do not. Punk says he's going to go until the wheels fall off. He's got, as long as he can stay healthy, he's got another, I would say, 5 years in him. Hopefully.
Oh, I'm not even going to venture a guess.
I may be a little too generous there, maybe. With
that. I mean, you never know. But yeah, no, he's not. He doesn't seem to be nearing the end. So I'm sure the title will, or one of the titles will keep flip-flopping back onto him at least a couple more times.
Furious Nation with a $4.99. Do you know what would be funny if Triple H did this TK, or did this that TK couldn't do? Get Jack Perry and CM Punk to work together. Perry's still not signed with AEW. That is never going to happen.
Yeah, but who wants to see that? Is anybody clamoring to see that?
No. Not at all.
Of all the potential opponents for CM Punk?
What would his name be in WWE?
Yeah, do you honestly think Jack Perry is going to be brought into WWE and end up feuding with CM Punk? Like, I don't know that he would make it out of NXT. Like, I don't know that they see him as someone that they would like really invest in and build up in any kind of major way.
No. It's more likely we see Anna Jay in NXT than Jack Perry. And we got one more here. Alex with a $2 super chat. What happened to Kit Wilson? LOL.
He was electrocuted.
Toxic.
Yeah, I love how like him and Miz, they were both electrocuted, and they are clearly in a state of like medical distress. And every week, like no one seems to really give a shit.
They don't care.
It's terrible.
That's everything, guys. You guys killed it tonight. Appreciate it. We had 2,800 people in here. We got over 1,000 likes. You guys did great on the super chats. We didn't reach the goal. Maybe I set the bar too high. Oh, we got another one. Look at this. Jeff with a $10 super chat. Hey, fellas. Wasn't sure if you seen my $20 super chat. Didn't hear it read yet, but here's another 10 towards the wheel. As well as how long will CM Punk's title reign be? And Oba Femi's first title win, how long will that be? Let me go back and check if I missed him. How long will Punk's title reign last? Jason, this one?
I mean, do you see him holding it into the new year? I feel like the title has it's been moved around quite a few times, and it probably would make sense to just cool it a little bit and keep it on one person for a while before you flip it back onto somebody else.
Yeah.
Now, the exception would be if Cody does go heel at SummerSlam, or maybe even coming out of SummerSlam. Maybe he doesn't win the belt back there. Then I could see them wanting to put the belt back on him maybe at like WrestlePalooza or something. But I could see Punk going through the end of the year into the beginning of next year with that belt.
And Oba, when he wins the title, how long is he going to hold it?
For a while.
There you go.
They're not going to take it from him within the first few months.
I see a Jeff here, 20. We'll end with this. Hey, fellas, great show as always. Now that CM Punk is the undisputed champion, how long do you see his title reign last? Well, Jason just answered that one. Thank you, brother. Also, congratulations to Solomonster. Great work on your podcast. How long before Oba Femi gets his title shot? And we just answered that one. Jeff, thank you.
Oh, well, he said, so how long before he gets his shot? I'm a little confused because
they may forget it, the whole fucking thing, honestly.
Well, no, I mentioned this on my podcast on Sunday, that on the official Raw recap show, after the show last week, they had Sam Roberts and Megan Morant. And the way they were talking, and I read a transcript of what they said. I have to go back and listen to the actual audio, but they were talking about it as if he had surrendered his title shot. That he basically said, okay, I'm going to, we're going to wipe this away because it's more important that I get Brock. The belt will always be there. I'll always be able to get a shot. I'll go after it some other time. And that's their official Raw recap show. So either they were also confused and didn't know what was going on, or Oba may not have banked that title shot. The title shot was specifically for SummerSlam. So we're assuming that the title shot is still there. He can come back to it. That may not be the case. So he may well win the Royal Rumble and then get his title match with Roman at WrestleMania that way.
It makes no sense for him to even get a championship match because he's not winning. So what's the point? They might as well just have dropped it. Which would be odd to let Sam Roberts let the cat out of the bag with that one, but
I don't know if he let the cat out of the bag, but I mean, if this is what they were saying in the aftermath of that show last week, again, either they were just coming at it from like what their opinions were, and they thought that maybe he didn't have the shot anymore, or I don't know, or maybe we just read it wrong, and maybe Oba really doesn't have the shot anymore. I don't know. Either way, I think we can agree it was very stupid the way they went about doing things.
Yes. If you didn't want him to win, if you wanted him to win the King of the Ring but not get the title shot, maybe you shouldn't have had him win the King of the Ring. Just a stupid decision, which I saw people defending that decision too, just for clickbait and fucking views on YouTube, but it's stupid. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. You guys killed it tonight. We will be back as always next week with 155 on Tuesday. We'll see what happens with CM Punk on Friday. Should be a big Friday Night SmackDown, more exciting than usual. And then we got a big title match on Wednesday, rather, on Dynamite. MJF and Kenny Omega. See what happens with that. But as always, I'm going to leave it to Jason to sound us off for another great week here on TNT.
Yeah, today was the 30th anniversary of the Hulk Hogan heel turn and the formation of the NWO 30 years ago today, although now it's after midnight, so that is no longer true. But it was 30 years ago today. It's hard to believe. Do you remember where you were when Hulk Hogan turned heel at Bash at the Beach?
I do not, actually.
So you were not watching it live.
I was not watching it live, no.
Interesting. I remember that time period as far as like the next day. And all my friends, everybody was talking about it. Like it was the big story. Holy shit, Hulk Hogan went heel. And who knew how big that this NWO thing would blow up to be. It's kind of wild to me that Austin 316 and the NWO, formation of the NWO, happened within the same like month, like within a month of each other.
Yeah.
And those have to be to this day still the two highest selling t-shirts in wrestling history.
Did you see the new NWO belt that they put on sale today for $700 with Hogan's face on the front plate? Yeah, go look at the shop.
See, they're still making money off
Kevin
this
Nash
stuff.
is still getting a check, bro.
30 years later. It's amazing.
Unbelievable.
How many Austin 316 like variations have there been over
know.
the years?
I don't know. Everywhere
I'll
you
bet
look.
if you go to
Hot Topic,
WWE
Walmart.
shop, I'll bet if you go to WWE shop right now, you'll find plenty of Austin 316 and NWO shirts.
Yes. There you go, guys. Thank you very much for all your support this week. We'll be right back next week on Tuesday Night Titans. Until then, we'll see you guys then.